All right. Welcoming in to anyone joining us here on the Tubies It's Ubies. We'll get started here in just a second. I'm going to invite in our friends on the old tiki-taki. So if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to fast forward just a little bit here as I get everyone invited in. See who our first person on tonight is going to be. It's always a mystery. Angel Bug Creation. Congratulations. You're the winner. You're the first person on. You won the ability to come hang out. Sorry, no actual prizes. Just the prize of friendship. Nice to see you. Pamela, what is good? And Kate is here. Michelle Bates is in the house. If you guys have any questions or anything while we're watching this, whether you're watching this on the old Tubies It's Ubies or you're watching this on the old TikTok, welcome in. If you came over from IG, nice to see you, or FB. All these different places we find each other, right? They all have these like FB, TT, IG, so many things. So welcome in, you guys. I'm happy to see you. Like I said, if you have any questions about reselling, whether it has to do with taking pictures of stuff, things in general, never be scared to ask. There are no bad questions. We all start somewhere. My name is Charity, aka NiceComps. I've been doing this full-time now for, I guess it's been about 6 months, but really taking it like super serious, probably about 3 months now. Oh, we got a little offer on something. We always got to pop over and see those. And yeah, I love doing this. I used to be in marketing and sales. I also owned a salon for a large portion of my life. And I love this the mostest. So this is definitely the greatest job with the most freedom. Takes hard work, but it's totally worth it. Hey, Gracious, good to see you. Nana's here. Lil Pickles is here. Cheryl, thank you for the live. Angel, nice to catch you. Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to catch me on. I don't always do evening ones, but today I had an appointment out of town. So it just worked up to do more of an evening one today. So, hey, thanks for the compliment. I'm liking the green. We decided it's a mix between Beetlejuice, a zombie, and what was the other? Honey, what was my hair? Beetlejuice, zombie, and I lost it. I can't remember. We had like a mix. There was a mix. Felix. You know what, Felix? I've had on enough of this. Just kidding. I love when you come in, Felix. Hey, Solar. Hey, Vicky. Vicky's here. Ooh, Gracious sent the witchy kitty. I love that. These Halloween, man, when these Halloween ones are gone, I'm going to be real sad because Halloween is totally like my faves, as I'm sure you can probably tell. Joker. Thank you. That's literally it. I was like, my brain just was like, I can't think of it. I can't remember. So yes, thank you. Coley, I'm happy to see you. I know I didn't catch you at work today. Catch you after work today. Okay, you guys, we're going to get started here right away. Got a lot to do. So like I said, I had an appointment out of town today. So I've only gotten about 6 listings up today. So I'm like, oh, girl, you got to bust some booty. Gracious is cooking. Fantastic. What are we having for dinner tonight, Gracious? I'm curious. I had breakfast at like 2:30 this afternoon or 3. So I just literally forgot to eat before I went to my appointment. So had myself a chicken sandwich when we got home, of course, because you know how I forgot about the chicken sandwiches. Delicious. I was on my way home. I was rushing so I can be there. Oh, Coley, goodness. Coley, there may or may not be some new stickers in for all the subscribers. I'm just saying there might be, if someone else is a subscriber in here and perhaps wants to show Coley the new stickers so she doesn't try to access them and drive unsafely, that would be amazing. Ooh, stuffed peppers with basmati rice and caramelized onion marinara. What is happening? How do you make that? That sounds delicious. Oh, the sweet ones. Oh my gosh. Yep, you guys found them. You found the stickers. What do we think? Do we like them? So that's Jack Jack, my dog Jack Jack, named after Jack Skellington, of course. And then that's Sally the meatball, named after Sally for Jack and Sally: A Nightmare Before Christmas. So Mary, welcome in. Okay, guys, let's get this going. I'm going to take a look at this counter offer. Let's see. I am asking how much for these shoes. I'm asking 53. They want to do 40. That would be 20% off. I'm on Depop, so that really is more like 16% off because it is, I won't have as much fees. So I think we're going to go ahead and accept that. Now, if you've ever watched my video on Are You Frustrated with Depop, you can find it on TikTok. If you just scroll down on my profile a little bit, we don't expect them to pay, right? Because Depop is what? A social media platform that just happens to sell items. So they may or may not pay. We'll find out though, right? Hi, Kira. Sweetness, it's good to see you. All right, guys, let's get started here. First thing we're going to start with tonight is a BKE. This is a standard fit Western pearl snap button. And I think most of you probably already know this, but Western shirts are so insanely huge right now. The whole like kind of Western cowboy core, rodeo, Santa Fe, all of those kind of aesthetics are so crazy hot right now because of the fact that you've got so many musical artists that are kind of weaving country music in. Zomboy, which is someone I listen to, just released part 2 of their opening for a show that they're going to do. And it's literally starts with a cowboy hat and then an old time Western cowboy kind of zombie guy. Guys, this is a dubstep, like trap artist. He usually has nothing to do with country music. However, all those aesthetics are really, really weaving together. Thanks so much for the hearts, Vicky. I appreciate it, you guys. That helps me know I'm adding some value to your evening here. Oh, Hector, thank you so much. Oh, guys, you're making me feel good. Okay, so Western is just so hot. So I would suggest if you're out in the wild and you're finding Western clothes that you know that you can flip for at least like 50 to 75%, I would highly, highly, highly recommend on getting those because they do sell and they're selling quick and fast. I'm selling Western stuff every single time I go to ship. Seems like I've got some Western stuff in there. Thank you so much for the gifts, you guys. Oh my gosh. Anita, good to see you. Shop the seller. Hi. Okay, let's get this hung up here on our board. And we got to get our fancy little lanyard thing here. If you guys haven't seen me use this before, it is I got another offer. Sorry, guys, just a second here. Oh, that's going to be too low. So this is a 1990 Abercrombie & Fitch winter coat. Extremely rare. Very, very hard to find. Now I got it for $2 at a garage sale, so any profit's good. However, I'm asking $75 for it. They're offering $47. That's almost a 50% discount. I'm not going to do that. So I usually do on Depop. I'll usually do like 20% is my metric. So if I'm asking, oh wow, thank you guys. So if I'm asking 75, that means 750 plus 750 would be 20% off. So I'm willing to do like 14 off. So if we take 75, we minus 14, that is going to give us $61. So I'm going to go ahead and counter that with 61. And then I'm going to say this, I'm going to send the offer, and then I'm going to add a little message. Now I love on Depop this new thing that they're doing where they're putting the offer, and I don't know, I saw a lot on Depop, so I know I sometimes get into beta testing stuff that isn't quite beta test or that other people don't have yet, but hopefully you guys have this, where the offer is coming in the message so that you can not only choose to accept or counter within the message, but you can also just send them a message right from there, which is so crazy handy. Because what was happening before is people, when you sent the offer, weren't seeing the message because it was coming through on 2 different messages. And I'm so happy that Depop did this. So this is what we're going to say. I'm just going to type in meet me, and that's my keyboard shortcut. If you're not using keyboard shortcuts, I highly suggest you do that. So I put meet me, and it automatically puts in my message that I do for everyone, which says, if you're willing to meet me a little closer to the asking, since it's already on sale this week, then I'm in. Sound fair? ? So we're going to put that in there, and we're going to see what happens. And if it happens, great. If not, I might be willing to adjust a couple dollars, but not too much because I know we're just headed into winter and I know that that coat's going to sell. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Hey, Tammy, good to see you guys. Nice to see you. Oh my gosh, guys, you got so many people in here tonight. This is so fun. Thank you so much for coming in. Hip flipping mama, welcome in. Vintage hustler, I love that. Got a couple Denises in here this evening. Cheryl, good to see you. Fane, what is good, y'all? Okay, so we're gonna pop open our camera setting here. And the first thing we're gonna do is make sure we're in square mode, which I am. Your photos always need to be in square mode. If they're not, they look wonky on the apps, so you want to make sure it's in square mode. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to smooth this out real nicely. I'm going to look to see if I need to do any sort of like lint rolling or anything like that. I always keep a little piece of tape up here in case things are not going in their exact position. It doesn't change the look of the item or anything. It just depends on how this was worn last, how it's been sitting in a box, so on and so forth. So we're going to take our handy dandy little Knizi lint roller here and just get off any of the little goobies, because who wants to get goobies in the mail? Certainly not me. And then the first photo we're going to take is always, oh, looks like we sold something, guys. Let's take a look and see, what did we sell? Oh, perfect. We actually sold those Dansko Harlows. So I got these for $2 at a garage sale, and we received $46.85. That probably includes the shipping. So altogether, after all the fees and everything and what I paid for them, we'll probably make about 35 bucks on those. So that was a great flip. I do, Hector, I do promote on eBay. I do 2 to 5% max on that. So, and then I actually do boosting on Depop as well. I don't really do anything on Poshmark. Every like 90 days, I actually just did this. Every like 90 days, I'll go through my closet, and there's a way to actually discount your entire closet by percentage. So I usually go in like every 90 days and discount like almost everything except for just like the brand new stuff down by like 10%. So that's how I handle Poshmark. Grailed, I don't do anything on there. Macari, I don't really do anything on there. Macari just announced today that they're doing bundle stuff. Now, of course, they're releasing all this for Japan first because it's definitely kind of what they're promoting right now. But yeah, we've got some good things going on. I think that, did you all see the, oh, gracious, thank you so much for all that. Did you guys see the Poshmark release statement today? Did anybody catch it? I'm so curious if you guys saw it. I was dying. So y'all know we've been complaining about the Poshmark situation, right? So I saw a thing today that Poshmark released a statement saying, thank you to the community for letting us know how you're feeling about our new marketplace fees. We are currently reevaluating them, and we will be changing our fee structures. So I'm like, yeah, y'all, it's not been great. Like, yeah, working on it. Gracious, exactly. Wink, wink. So I thought that was so funny. Hippy dippy, what is going on? TLP, what is good? Okay, so we're going to get a picture of our shirt here. We're going to take a look at our exposure too. So I've got this at +3 right now. That looks a little lighter than what the shirt actually is. So we're going to go ahead and just adjust our, I feel like I need to clean my lens. My phone looks a little dirty here. We're just going to give it a little, love, a little scrub. We got to be professional in here, you know. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's not something I've been super accused of in my life. All right, we're going to bring this down to just a 0 exposure, and then we're going to take a look at it. So what we're looking at for our photos, we're looking for light, bright, and out of sight. What does that mean? We're making sure that the lighting is good. We're making sure that the overall appearance is bright. And then out of sight just means, does it look good? I mean, if I'm scrolling past something and I see this, am I going to be like, oh, that's kind of a nice looking shirt. I may check that out myself. I think that looks pretty good. Not to toot my own horn, but I think it looks good. So we're going to go with that as our first picture. And then we're going to bust out our little measuring stick here. We're going to go ahead and do our first measurement is always shoulder to shoulder. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm also making sure that I'm trying to get the name brand or anything that I'm really trying to feature in the photos as much as possible. Why am I doing that? I'm doing that so at each and every photo, the person is reminded of the brand and reminded of any like cool little things that are on it, so that they wanted that, so that they're encouraged to buy that. They're called exposures, not like exposures with your camera settings. They're actually called exposures because it's exposing someone to like the logo, the brand, something about it. It's exposing the person to it. Most people on average are anywhere between 5 to 21 exposures. Some people are what's called early adopters, which means if they see something, they like it, they automatically buy it. Do we have any like early adopters in here? You see something, you're like, okay, yep, that's exactly what I want. You've only, seen it maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times. You're like, oh, yep, exactly what I want. You buy it. Then we've got our medium adopters. Those are people that are like around 12 to 13 exposures. They got to really look at something. They really want to figure out if they want it. Maybe it sits in their cart for like a week or something like that. And then you've got do we have any mediums? And then if we have any late adopters, let me know, because that's what I am. I will put something in my cart. I will research it. I gotta figure everything about it. I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole before I get it. Like, I'm really particular. I literally have to like dissect the thing. Maybe not so much reading about it, but watching videos, and I gotta see someone else use it. Like when I go and find something on the Smile store, Smile Amazon, by the way, is what I'm calling it now. Smile Amazon. So when I go to Smile Amazon, I always go immediately down to the videos, and I'm watching people unbox it. I want to take a look at it. Those are called late adopters. So the more you can get your logo, or like the fact that it's pearl snap, or it's got like some cool stitching, or it's Omni Shield, or it's dry fit, or it's heat gear, or it's got any special wordage on it, the more times you can have that in the images, the more times people see it. And each time they go to a new photo, that's called an exposure. Each time they read about it in the description, that's called an exposure. So you want to get those in your photos as much as possible, because that's going to be the discerning factor between between marketing to only early adopters or marketing to people that might be medium or late adopters. I hope that made sense. If it did not make sense, I apologize in advance. So I'm the same, drives me at the wall. Yeah. Did you do the length? Yes, I believe so. Did I not do the length? I usually do. Let's see. Yep, sure did. Okay. So these are the photos for the shirt. So we got our opening photo. Then we're going to have shoulders. And notice how I put the brand in that photo. And you can also see the pearl snaps. Now, I could have just taken a far away picture, which you wouldn't have seen these things. Or I could have taken a super close-up picture and you wouldn't have seen those things, right? But we're trying to like get all the things, all the meat and potatoes in one sack. And then next one is length. There was no logos, but if there had been a logo down here or a stitch or something special down here, I would have absolutely included that in. And then we've got our chest length, which again, there is the label. There's that. And then our back, which doesn't have any logos. If it did, I would have taken an additional picture up close. Now, once I get it over here to my table and I take it off the hanger, now I'm going to get some additional photos. I'm going to get a picture of the size and the actual brand tag. So we're going to get a picture of that. And then I'm going to look down here and see if there's a care tag. Care tags are usually down here at the bottom. And then we're going to get a picture of that one. And this feels like not that old of a buckle shirt. It feels pretty new. And what I mean by that is I will do the test for you guys, and I'll show you to kind of how to tell the age of something here. All right, so I'm going to get a picture of the care tag because people want to know what something is made of so they know how it's going to wash. Okay, so let's see. All right, this is a 90s shirt. We'll go ahead and do this one next. And so I'll just pull it off here so you guys can hear. So if you're kind of trying to figure out what age something is and it's hard to tell what the age is of it, sometimes one of the senses we don't use, I know Coley does this because we talked about this, but one of the senses that not everyone uses is your ears. So I want you to listen to something. So this is an older shirt. So this is like from the 90s, and I'll show you what it is in a second, but this is a 90s shirt. Listen. Hear how it's a low octave. It's like a dum, dum, dum. That's the bass, right? Okay, that's bass. Now, listen to a newer shirt. Treble, right? You can hear the difference. Can anyone hear it? Hearts if you can hear it. Can you guys hear that? Am I doing it loud enough? Okay. Low. Yeah. High. So why is that? Because the way that they're weaving clothes now and the different stuff that they're putting in there, they're putting way more polyester in items than they used to, and they're also putting more lycra in items than they used to. Gives it stretch and flow. It's also way less expensive than putting like actual cotton or wool or cashmere or a better kind of thread in. And so because they've done that, the clothing has become thinner, right? You can see through it. Like, look at the difference. These are 2 dress shirts, 90s, newer. It's such an obvious difference to me anyways. I don't know if it is to you guys, but it's a way for you to be able to kind of discern if something is newer or older if it doesn't have a date tag on it. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, wow, I missed a lot of messages. I am taking notes. I got the notebook today, gracious. Yeah, I always write the measurements down as I'm doing this. And the other day, Thrifty was like, are you writing down the measurements? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not. Like, I was totally out of it and did not do that. Hey, Letty, good to see you guys. I'm happy to see everybody. Mojave, Mike, good to see you. Vanessa, Mishka, we got so many people in here tonight. Maniac Mim, that's my nickname is Mim, M-E-M. That's why my son calls me. What background do you use? Caitlin, that's a great question. If you go over to the Tubies that's Ubies, it's in the old link Dinkater and my bio YOE. It'll take you over to the tube that's Ube. And if you know what I'm talking about, and there's a 2-minute video on there on how to make this and where the supplies are from and everything. Vicki, thanks so much for all the love, you guys. You guys always make me feel so special. You are very welcome. Were you laughing so hard I wasn't paying attention? Yeah, she has a video. Gracious, I love it. Thank you for putting the old link dinker thing there. Caitlin, awesome, cool. Oh, Annie's here. Annie, hi. Hey, Jason, good to see you guys. Okay, so we're going to get this one bagged up and then we'll get a picture and get our next one going on here. So that's how you can kind of tell the difference between something that's a little bit newer and something that's a little bit older. There's a lot of sellers out there putting Y2K or vintage on items that aren't. And unfortunately, what happens is then the word gets used so much that search engines can no longer find the actual items that are that. The other thing that happens is if you are putting stuff in your descriptions that isn't necessarily true about an item and your items get flagged multiple times for that, they can actually take down your listings. You'll get a little thing that says, your such and such listing was taken down due to unauthentic something. I've never gotten one. I've seen the screenshots of it. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it's something along those lines. It's kind of the same thing you'll get if a company has a VERO on something. All right, so we're going to get a picture also of the tag. Guys, this saved me so hard the other day. I had not written a number down in the book. I had not put the SKU number down of the item on the listing or in the description. It was literally just one of those like did not do it things. And I went back to my pictures and found the item in the number. Otherwise, I mean, guys, I'm up to 1221. Now I don't have that many things listed anymore because obviously a ton of it is sold, but it's still tubs and tubs and tubs. Holler if you've ever had to dig through tubs to find things. It's not fun, right? So very, very happy I had taken a picture of that. 1221. And that is our buckle, BKE. And then we're going to write down our measurements while we're here. And then this is also when I take the time to put like, if there was any like spots or flaws or pinholes, I'll write that down too so that I don't accidentally forget to do that. So our chest on this is 20 across, 40 around. And I always put the across and the around in my description. Now you don't have to do that. But the reason I do that is because most guys, I saw a lot of guys' clothes, most guys will measure themselves like this. Oh, I'm about 19. Like they won't realize that 18 or 19 is actually 36 around. So I'll put like 18 across, 36 around for any of the like, chest measurement areas. So 20 across, 40 around. Our length is 32. And the length on this one, the front and the back were the same. So we only need to put one length. If your shirt has 2 different lengths, we have a polo shirt tonight that I'm going to do that you guys will see what I'm talking about. And then our shoulders are 19.5. Perfect. Moving right along. Okay, next one we've got here. Now, I want to know, do we have any, I used Excel. Oh, that's smart. That's good. Yeah, that's smart. The worst is the digging. The back aches from the digging. Do you print your SKU labels on your Rollo? I do, Coley. Yeah, I do. I would love to tell you how to do that, but that's a Justin thing. And it's kind of a pain in the booty. I'm not going to lie. Every time he has to do it, he's like, gosh, how did I do this again? Because he had to go in and change and do a bunch of things. If you guys get those and you can't figure it out, feel free to message me and I can have Justin help you if you guys need help with that. Zephyr's mom, good to see you. Like Coogie saw, you can't find an authentic. Yeah, right. And you can't really, you're not supposed to do that. You can't put something style really unless you do it one word. So here's a trick. Okay, you guys want a little trick, a little tip? So if you're trying to put that something is like something, but you can't really say that it's like that something, the thing that starts with a D word, you know what I'm talking about? You can put like it, let's say that it was like Nike, but it wasn't Nike, but it kind of was like a Nike. You could do like Nike aesthetic, but it has to be one word. Because then it's not technically Nike, it's technically Nike aesthetic. Does that make sense? So you can get away with that. That's kind of like a little way around that. And search engines can still find that without it flagging. Now, I wouldn't probably do that with Nike because they're a really big brand and, you know, it's a little on the scritchly right there. But with other stuff that you can kind of get away with that. Wink, wink. I'm not you, but if I were you, I could maybe do that. What else, guys? Oh, Salvy's here. Oh, yep. You're going to probably hear the squeaks here in about 20 minutes. What do you call different length hems? I always call them high-low for better tucking and show. I just do front and back. So underneath in the descriptions, where it says length, I write like 29 front, 34 back. So I knew what you meant, Gracious. I do that too. Whenever I talk to text hems, it always does that, like singing hems. Great example though. I'm not trying to do it. It's annoying what others do. Yeah, I mean, we all do what we're gonna do, but we do need to always be careful. But what I wanted to show you guys was this. Who remembers this? Does anyone remember this brand? This is called, and this cracks me up every time I watch WN show. And they have like the t-shirt bros on there and they'll have like dress shirts or old pants. They'll call it Bugle Boy. And I'm like, I just die every time. I'm like, it's Bugle Boy. It was literally like the hottest brand. When I was going into middle school, all I wanted was like Gaetano jeans, Bugle Boy, Bongo, Guess, Quicksilver, Esprit. Like that was like, OMG, JanSport backpack with one strap. I mean, so every time I see someone call it Bugle Boy, I'm like, it's Bugle. Coley, I get you. Hey, Mike. So yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but it is. OMG, I can see it. I have a pair of Bugle Boys jeans listed. Yep. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I've got a nice little Bugle Boy. I'm like, it's Bugle. All right, let's get this up here. And this is kind of a unique one because it's without the collar, which this look was definitely popular kind of in that 90s aesthetic for sure, especially in like streetwear, hip hop, kind of like that rap aesthetic, street aesthetic. It was definitely without the collar, a pretty big deal back in the day for sure. So we're just going to stretch that out here, make it look good. And then we're going to take a look at our exposures here and let's see how that looks. I think that looks pretty much spot on there. So this is a good example too. So this one's got like an embroidered area here that's got like the crown. That whole like king crown royal look, really, really huge in the 90s clothing. You'll see that a lot. And even into Y2K, a lot of like early Ed Hardy has that. A lot of like early Affliction. There's a t-shirt brand called Filter. They have like a whole line of that. So that like kind of look was pretty popular at that time. So I want to make sure that I'm featuring that in, especially because the 90s are so popular right now That aesthetic is so hot. So I'm going to be getting the shoulder, but I'm going to make sure the brand name, and then that is also in there. So, because again, exposures. We want to give people as many chances to get our item as they need to actually complete it and not have it just sitting in a cart. Let's see, the front and the back are a little bit different, so I will make sure that I put that on my listing. And then we're going to flip this over, do a little lint roll action here. It's got just a couple little yicky yuckies on there. We don't want any yicky yuckies. So get those off there. And then we'll get a picture of this back. So I don't know who was here for the Poshmark drama situation, but I had somebody, do you guys remember I had told you I had somebody that had given me a 2-star because they were upset about it taking so long to get to them? I literally shipped it within 24 hours of when they ordered it, but they lived in North Carolina, and it literally was during the hurricane. So how he even got it in 6 days, I don't know, but he complained and gave me a 2-star. So you guys know I contacted Poshmark. They said, just reach out to him, send a nice little message, let him know it was because of the weather. And I'm like, okay. So I did it. I reached out to him and he changed it to a 1-star. Yeah, that's real life. So I messaged Poshmark again and I was like, hey, so thank you so much for getting back to me. I just wanted to let you know that he changed it to a 1-star. So your advice didn't work. And now I have a 1-star review that's going to drag down some of my Poshmark reviews. And, you know, that's pretty upsetting that I was advised to do that. And do you think that you could remove that review now? Because you can see that the only reason that he gave me a 1-star was because I reached back out to him and let him know that the shipping had taken so long because of the hurricane. So I got a message back. I was waiting to get one back. And of course I got one back. And it literally was like that super generic Poshmark. You're a valuable member. We see that you're a Poshmark ambassador too. Your standing is so great in the community. And this like stroke the ego, stroke the ego, stroke the ego, right? And I was like, excuse me, that's not what I asked. What I asked you to do was remove that review. So I messaged them back. My husband's literally like, oh my gosh, are you messaging again? I'm like, oh yeah, of course I am. This is an injustice and we don't stand for injustices. So I messaged them back. I know that they're not going to take it down or remove it or anything, but you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I think that's why we have all, because we all as a community together have spoken out about like the Poshmark situation and the fee structure and everything. And I think because we are also cool, and as a community, we have said, you know, we are not a fan of this and here's why. And now they're changing it. So there's nothing wrong with being the squeaky wheel. I can't be the only wheel squeaking out there saying, hey, that's not fair. I told them too, I said, I don't really see the fairness in you guys allowing a buyer to take some advantage of a situation when it is completely out of the seller's control. Like, I am not Mother Nature or the Lord. I do not control the weather situation. And so therefore I can't decide whether or not to put a hurricane in his path so he has to wait a day longer for a shirt. So anyways, obviously I can't connect with the person anymore. They went ahead and blocked any communications, which is fine. I mean, it's someone I was going to block anyways, but it's just pretty wild that Justin has said that too. He's like, you know, because my husband runs an online delivery service. And so he's dealing with customer service stuff literally all day, every day. And he's like, I can't imagine, as the company that he's working for, he's like, I can't imagine like myself or any of, you know, the people that I have, you know, working in my department under me. I can't imagine telling them, hey, if a customer calls in and says, I'm having issues, or if a store or someone that needs someone delivered was to message in and say, hey, I'm having issues with this customer, this and this happened, we would always want to take a look at that store and be like, okay, how can we help serve you best? Because your items are being delivered. Now, the customer is also important, but equally 50%, right? 50% we need to make sure the stores that have the product are happy, and 50% of the time we need to make sure the customer is happy. And if a customer is taking advantage of a place, well, we need to stop that. And if a place is taking advantage of a customer, vice versa, right? But I guess they don't really have that same theory or thought. So in the words of the Muppets, moving right along. What are you going to do, right? I'm going to be the squeaky wheel, and hopefully I can help someone in the future that's going through this when they change that. So, okay, so our front length is 32 and our back length is 32.5. Not really that much difference, but enough. I always write everything down, right? Our job is to find a need and fill it, locate a problem and solve it. We write everything down in the descriptions. We allow people to take a look at it, and if they want to get it, great. If not, then that's their decision. So Jewel, the bad ratings, you can't see anything below a 4-star on Poshmark. However, it does go in a percentage thing. So if you've got, let's say you were a new seller. Let's say I was a new seller and I had only sold 15 items. Well, one of those, that's a little Jack here. One of those bad one-star review really does alter your rating, your percentage. And so that's huge, right? Because it all goes on an algorithm. They favor people that are in better standing, just like eBay does. All delivery, all online selling platforms, they all do that. They're going to favor the accounts that have been there the longest, the best standings, the most sales, blah, 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 right? So yes, if I was new, that would be a huge problem. I mean, I'm not, and I've sold hundreds and hundreds of things on Poshmark, so it's not that huge of a deal because it's not that going to make that big of a difference. But my whole thing more was just like standing up for the fact that it wasn't right. And then also taking care of the people that are going to come along after me. There's some 18-year-old right now probably starting up a Poshmark account because she wants to be a reseller because she saw her friend's mom doing it. And she's like, oh, that's a great way to make money. Well, if they allow these buyers to take advantage that way and say things that aren't true, then that's going to hurt someone in the future. And I'm an injustice warrior, guys. It's who I am. It's what I do. So, how does that shirt stay against the board? Yes, Amy, it is felt. And like I said, if you go over to TubeU, the Ubies, it's Tubies, I got a 2-minute video over there and it talks about that. Yes, Poshmark allows people to change their ratings within the first 30 days. Yep. Thanks so much for the hearts and loves on that one, guys. Yeah, frustrating, but it is what it is. I feel like I did my part. I feel like I stuck up for myself and hopefully stuck up for people in the future. So vintage store, it's night times. I'll try to catch you on Friday Night Live. Awesome. Yeah, and usually I do this a little bit earlier in the day. Can you change your FB on eBay? Tam, I believe that you can. I think it's a shorter amount of time though. I want to say it's 7 days. I could be so wrong on that though. If someone else knows what the rule is in here, please comment. I for some reason I'm thinking 7 days, but that could be nuts and I could just be making that up. So Solo, what is up? All right, so we got that down. Next thing we've got here, let's do a little pair of shorts now. It's getting kind of late in the season for shorts. However, I live in Texas. It was 82 degrees today. So it's still shorts weather for me. It's kind of always shorts weather. You just have way less customers looking for shorts this time of year. My only exception, so I've actually started packing up. Like I had a couple Hawaiian shirts in here. I'm kind of going to pack them away, I think, until it starts to get a little bit nicer out again or I run out of stuff. Because it's just, I'd rather be getting stuff up that's more seasonal. However, if you've got shorts that have that like kind of 90s jorts, baggy carpenter look, this is really big right now. So you may have a kid that's a size 34 waist that's going to get these at a 40 or 42, whatever these are, because he wants that super wickedly baggy kind of look. So I'm going to put these up because I think that's who it's probably going to sell to. So, oh, Plenty Bricks, thank you so much. I'm enjoying it. I thought you guys would get a kick out of this tonight with the earrings. I got the Joker, Beetlejuice, and Zombie mixed together and made my hair today. So I'm so happy to see you tonight. Hey, Jody. Okay, let's get this up here and get a picture of these. These are in pretty good condition. Little bit of wear here and there, but all over in good shape. These are a pair of Columbias. Now, I don't pick up a ton of Columbia stuff now, at least not as much as I used to. However, if it's like got Omni Shield or it's got any sort of like dry wicking, dry vent, high vent, if it's got kind of like a specialty thing to it, I will usually pick it up. And as long as it's inexpensive, I mean, these were $1. So that I'd be kind of nutty not to get them. And they had like this neat little side pocket and stuff. So I always get a picture of the fronts first. And then we're going to get a picture of the waist. And I think these are going to be a 39, probably originally 40s. Then I do hips, which on guys' shorts are usually almost at the end of the zipper. It's usually about 1 inch from where the zipper is. We do hips, and then we're going to do rise. So how I do my rise is I just reach in here and I always pop open that center area so that I can easily get that in there. And so the person can easily see the correct measurement on that. And then after I do the rise and the inseam, I'm sorry, I said rise, but I meant inseam. Once I do that, then we're going to get a picture of the rise, which these are a really high rise. And then we're going to get a picture of the leg opening. Now, a lot of people go up a little higher on the leg opening. I always try to go kind of towards the end because that's where I like to know how my shorts, I'm an avid shorts wearer. I can't even tell you the last time I wore pants. And that's what I always want to know is like where stuff's going to hit me. We're going to check the pocket, make sure there isn't any cough drops, dog treats, or old deodorant, which we found the other day together. That was really fun. I don't think I've laughed that hard, and I don't even know how long. And there's zip. And then we're going to go ahead and turn these around. And I was thinking, yep, these are Omni Shield. I was thinking they were. So I'm going to get a picture of this back. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to where it says Columbia, get a picture of that. And then I also want to make sure I get a picture of Omni Shield. It's got a little bit of pilling here in the midsection. So I am going to use my little fabric shaver and get that off. Otherwise, I'm going to have to drop the price down, and there's no reason to do that if I can get it off there. Very, very common. When you're doing pants, always make sure you check in this mid area because there's going to be pilling almost always. There's going to be a little bit. And just a little bit of a fabric shaver really makes a huge difference. I like the one that I've got. It's off of the Smile store, if you know what I'm talking about. And we're going to just get a new picture of this back. Perfect. Looks good. And then I do want to get just a little close up on the fact that that's got a little bit of pilling because I don't want anyone to feel like they're getting something different than what they thought. What is that phone holster, please? Yes, Blunty. I get these off the Smile store, Smile Lazon, as I call it. If you go to the old link dinketer in my bio, click on the thing that says reseller tools to get you started. And if you click over there, you'll see it in my list and you can get it there. Make sure you get this one though. There's a whole bunch of these on. This is the long one and the correct one is link dinkied for all of you because the other brand has them, but they're only about this long. And so when you get it, because it's the first one I ordered, it hits like right here. And it's just really super annoying. I also like this one because it's got the keys. And for me, I use it for my glasses or sunglasses because I can't find my hook that usually goes on my glasses. It's missing because that's the life I live. Blessing, what is going on, Jody? Good to see you. I find razor or brow razor work better, but there's been time where I made a hole. You know, Jewel, that's so funny because I have some of those and I gave that a brief thought, but knowing myself, I'm going to either end up visiting a doc or I'm going to destroy the item. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to do that. And my son actually gave me that one. I didn't know where it was from. And then I did a Google Lens search and found it on Smile Amazon. And then I put it in the link for you guys because it works really well. I mean, you guys might have one that works good for you already, but it worked. This one works really well for me. So, and it's easy to clean. All right. These are a pair, looks like 2012. And Columbia is pretty easy to tell. There's always a 3 or 4 digit code. I've noticed that, so each brand is different when you want to date stamp it, right? Most brands will do 4 digits. Columbia will do 3 or 4 digits. So some of their stuff will say like 0212, which would mean like February of 2012. It may just say 212, which still means February of 2012. Also, if you use the little, some of the newer ones will have like a little QR, and the QRs are great because if it's new enough that it's still in their database, then you can literally just copy and paste the title and put it over in eBay to find it, or to use it for your listing title. If it's older, like this one's at 2012, so the likelihood of me being able to find that exact one, not super great, but it's definitely, yeah, and these were a 40 originally. It's definitely a nice little trick to be able to find that. So I hope these little tips help you guys out. If you try again, just be careful. Joel, I don't think I will. Sharp objects and me, I don't know. It's just, we seem to not be friends. We seem to have a hard time. Oh, Salvi, did you hear it? I didn't even hear it. Where's Piggy? Where's Piggy, Mama? Did you hear what Squeaky's happening? 15 minutes. Oh, there she is. 15 minutes. Where's Acty? Oh my goodness. Salvi, you always hear that. I love that. I did. It's the pre-dinner squeaks. It's getting close to 7. Oh, I got that cardboard resized. You suggested that thing is dangerous. Which one? Oh, the one where you put it in the box and go around with it. Yeah, you just got to be like really careful with it. So when you use it, just make sure that your other hand is like over the top of it when you use it. Because the mistake that I made when I first used one of those was when I used it, I was holding it and I did almost get myself. It works really good, especially like if you're somebody that's doing a lot of hard goods. I am not anymore. I mean, I mainly do clothes and stuff. So I don't do a lot of like Frankenboxing anymore, but I definitely worked at the beginning. Had a mischievous odds interacting with a pool noodle. Smart. That's super smart. Yeah. That's super smart, Gracious. Ooh, that's actually a really good idea. Okay, we're gonna get. Oh, I don't have a number on this one. This would be SKUless. We can't have a SKUless thing. All right, so 1262 is our shorts. 1262 shorts. 1262 Columbia, and those were originally a 40, which they're not anymore. And those were a 2012. Why is that important? And I have gotten that question from people, like, why is it important to put the year? And we talked a little bit about this before, but with doing clothing, a lot of people will buy stuff because of obviously the era that it was in, but they're also going to buy it because they only like models of that line that came out between a certain time in a year, a few years, or not. Like for me, I'm always looking for like I love wearing like men's like you guys see me wear them all the time, like retro shorts that have like, you know, Simpsons Donuts or Garfield. I love those kind of things. And I always am looking for the older ones because the older ones had like more rooms in the leg, whereas the newer ones that they make they try to just, they're like more kids sizes than the other ones. So I'm always looking for any of those kind of like print shorts that came out before like 2015. I just know exactly what size I wear and it's easy. And the newer stuff, I have to like take a look and see how skinny the leg is because I like my shorts to be kind of in the baggier. And some of the ones I have that I wear that are a little tighter are the new ones. Like my Marvel ones are way tighter because they're newer. So how is everyone doing on eBay? Seems slow for October. I have got a couple opinions on that. Give me a second. So I'm going to do leg opening. We're going to do 14. And then our rise is, these are high rise too, 11. Then we've got an inseam of 8. We've got a hip of 46, 47. Yes, those are definitely baggy aesthetic. And then our waist on those is like a 39. I'd say they're probably a 39. Okay, so yes, October. That's a great question. So sales in October notoriously usually start picking up around the 17th of October, which is right now, because people start realizing that Halloween's coming, but you also start seeing stuff they're called exposures, as we talked about. You're also starting to see Christmas ads. You're starting to see, I think I saw 2 Myrtle Beach Christmas ads today. I saw a Thanksgiving ad today. Like, so we're starting to see those, and those kind of things start triggering you to start thinking like, oh, I need to get gifts. I need to start shopping. It's why places like Costco and Wally and all that put their holiday decorations out so early. Joann's Fabrics always has their decorations out like 6 months in advance. I mean, their Halloween sales were on clearance for 3 weeks, and it's just they're always trying to jump in head of a different company or business so they can get those sales. So I think you'll start to notice things are picking up. We had a couple interesting things already this October, though. We had a PRIME days with Smile Amazon. We also had 2 hurricanes. And when you take 2 gigantic national disasters, you mix them with a large company like Smile Amazon doing a big push like that to sell stuff, it's just going to be slower for us resellers. It'll happen again in July when they do another PRIME days. It'll also probably happen unless you sell new with tags box stuff, Black Friday. These things just, we have to be cognizant of what other sales are going on with other stores that have more money to advertise than us, right? So I think that's what's going on, if you ask me. Hey, God, good to see you. Yeah, you don't want your shorts digging into your leg when you're sitting down. Not when you're a girl like me. Like, I am no, scrinny murny. I got some, some bikes in the trunk. So I definitely don't like to have my shorts too tight. Let's see, what else do we got here? Good evening, Fetty. What is up? Yes, 2 hurricanes out of Florida and hurts us for sure. Absolutely, Angela. And I hope you're okay. I hope you're good. I was a huge baby last time. I did not pick up until after Halloween. It was solid. Yeah. Yep. Until shipping closed for Christmas. Yep. Okay. Moving right along. All right. Next thing we've got here, super low bread and butter. Pick this up for 50 cents. It's a Nike shirt. This is called a boat neck. So if you look at my shirt here, this is called a crew neck. So crew necks, standard leaf fit just around the collar or around your neck area. This is called a boat neck. And boat necks just have a larger opening hole. People that are like sports and athletes like to wear these because they're getting hot and they're getting sweaty. This is probably dry fit. Yep, it's probably dry fit. So they're getting hot and they're getting sweaty. So they like to be able to have room. They also like to wear tank tops and stuff underneath this. And so you'll see this a lot on Nike shirts. So don't be afraid if it is a boat neck to put it as a boat neck. And then in your description, also write boat neck, because people specifically look for that because they want more room around the collar. Good. Angela, sending love to every single person that's been through that. We, Justin and I have ran from 3 hurricanes. We got caught in the one on Ormond Beach on the East Coast and had to drive through water. Our entire bottom of our car was submerged, and the bottom portion of our car, this little thing that holds up the housing, which by the way are made crazy cheap these days. It was kind of like a cardboard material. Like, what in the world? That came off in the middle of it. We were driving down the highway and I was like, dong, 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 dong. So I mean, we haven't been anywhere close to what other people, and I don't want to compare my story to anybody else's. Like, people have been through way more, but I know what that feeling is. I know what that scary feels. I don't like the feels. I don't want anyone to go through the feels. Yeah. So I'm glad you're okay. Skyhawks, what's going on? Okay. Let's get this Nike shirt up here. Now, why would I pick up something so simple as this? Couple reasons. Number one, it was 50 cents. I think actually I got this. I think this was like 75 cents because I got it in a pack of stuff. Number one. Number two, it's dry fit. I always pick up anything that's got special. So like I said, Thermofit, dry fit, high vent, hypervent, heat gear, PFG, Omniwick. Let's see, what else do we got? What am I missing, guys? Anything that's got like a special thing to it. UPF protection. Because people look for those specific things. If this was just a bottom biscuit basic Nike shirt that I was going to get $5 or $6 for, it's not worth my time unless I got like 6 of them and I'm doing like a bundle deal for somebody, right? But otherwise, I wouldn't pick it up. But for 50 cents and because it has all those things, for sure. Number 3 reason. So number 1 is the boat neck. I like picking those up. They sell well for me. Number 2, it's dry fit and they brand. And then number 3, it's a 3XL. And I will pick up anything that's in this size, I will just about pick up. And the reason I will do that is because they make so fewer amount of those sizes above 2X. They make so few of them in comparison to like a large, extra large sizing that people that wear this size will pay more. They never complain, and they'll buy 2 or 3 things out of my store that are all that size. So never snooze on those bigger sizes. Then we're going to get a picture of the collar here. While I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I'm trying to include any Nike, anything in that. So this has got dry fit. So I'm going to make sure that that is in my photo. And then I'm going to take here and go along the chest. As I go along the chest area here, I'm going to make sure that I show that Nike logo. I mean, I really want to show that as many times as I can. Turn around, bright eyes, every now and then. Thank you. How does the rest of it go? I need you in my arms. I need you now, forever. I think that's as much as I know. Total eclipse of the heart. I never said it would be good, folks. I just said it would happen. All right, now we're going to get a picture of the tag here. And this one definitely feels newer to me. So I would be surprised if this is any later than like, I mean, it feels like it's around like a 2018 to me or earlier. Let's see if they've got, oh, here we go. It is a, yeah, 2020. So right there, we always look for the first 2 letters, and then it's the 2 letters that are after that. So SU, when you see SU on clothes, it means summer. SP is spring, FA is fall. You don't see a lot of winter ones because normally companies have pushed out their materials for the year, but every once in a while you will. I've seen it as a WN, I've seen it as a WT, but it is really rare. I don't see them very often. HO is holiday. So a lot of the winter ones, you'll see HO, which means that it was released for the holiday season. So you can always look for those 2 letters and then just look for the 2 letters that are after that. And that'll tell you exactly when this was made. So this says SU 2010-01. So this means that this was created in summer of 2020 is what that means. All right. So we're going to get a picture of that because a lot of people that wear Nike like to know exactly when their item is from. And then we're going to make sure we got a picture of all that. And then I want to show you guys what I was talking about. So remember how I was saying, like, so in our opening picture, we've got all the things for you to see. And then on my shoulders, I make sure that I've got the Nike symbol in there. In my length, I've got that dry fit symbol in there. In my chest, I've got the Nike symbol. And then I've got the Nike tag, the year tag, and then I'm going to make sure I get a picture up close of the dry fit. And I'm going to end it with that one because that's going to allow me to have exactly the right number of photos for Depop because you can only have 8. And then also they're ending it remembering, like, your end photo is almost as important as your first photo. You want to, like, there's a saying in marketing and sales, you want to be the last thing they think of when you go to bed and the first thing they think of when they wake up in the morning. Same thing with photos. So you want to catch their attention with that first photo. And then your job is to kind of convince them that this is the item they need moving into that final photo. So that last photo I'll usually use as like the brand, something special about it. I'll use the ending will be like the care tag with the name and what it's made of, or the special thing. So in this case, it would be dry fit. I do that a lot with like Omnishade or any of that kind of stuff. I'm going to do that as the last thing. So I hope that helps you out there. How old does something have to be labeled vintage? 20 years, Foxy. 20 years is the cutoff. So in this case, if you were listing something today and it was a 2005, it is still technically not vintage. you could probably get away with it because we're so close to the end of the year. But anything before that, you don't want to call it vintage if it's not 20 years. But we're climbing up to 2005 is almost the it's almost vintage for 2005, which is cool. Like a dating app for clothes, Foxy. It really is what it is. I mean, everything is sales. Anyone that's ever been in a relationship or ever had a best friend, you sold your personality to them. Like, that's how I look at it. So I hope that makes sense. I need to move to lay flat so bad. I'm dealing with so many changes I want to make. Hey, gracious, girly, one day at a time, one step at a time. Make a list. This is what I do. Tip. This is what I do. This is coming from a girl that gets like anxious when she's got 400 things to do. I list out every single thing I need to do, and then I move it into A, B, and C category. A is this is on fire. I have to do this immediately. B is I can get to it within the next 30 days. And C is I would like to do this in the future. Then what I do, I know this seems so like insanely organized, but this is how I have to keep my brain organized. Then I take the A ones and I put them in order of this absolutely has to be done immediately. And then I do all my, A ones. And then for B's and C's on Sundays, I'll do 1B or 2B things. And then once a month, I'll do a C thing. I know that seems so great. I actually have a whiteboard in my hallway that has like little magnets on it that talks about it, that has all of my things. So I don't know if it'll help you, but it does me. Yes, you can find all the instructions in the bio YOE. Thank you, Sarah. And I want to congratulate Vicky. Vicky, 2 months of subscription, you got a new badge. Did you notice that? I got a notification that said that you had gotten a new badge next to your name. You're the first and only person with the month 2 star, which is really cool. I thought that was cool. I like that they do those little things. It's neat. Thanks for the gifts too, Coley. I put so close to being vintage in the description and it sold. Don't say that I'm not ready to accept 2005 as old. Dude, Jen, no doubt. Like, thinking about that, I'm like, wasn't that just the other day? And it's like, it wasn't, but it kind of feels like at the same time, like, oh my gosh. Grace is like, I know. I'm preaching to the choir too, right? I'm the girl that, was down with a cold and I've been ever since and it's been like, I'm so behind. All right, 1, 2, 2, 3 is our Nike. And let's get our specs in here. Let's see, what do we got? It is a 2020. I can just tell from the quality of the material. And we've got 3XL. And then our measurements are chest is 24.5 across. It is a length of 29.5 and a shoulders of, I'm going to call that 19.5 because it's not really 19. It's closer to 19.5. Yeah, I know. Yay, Vicky. Yeah, but we still need to hear it. I know we do, don't we? Thanks for the like, Sarah. Okay, next thing we've got here is, now this is a perfect example of a shirt that I bought, not because of the brand, but because of the weight, the feeling, and the aesthetic. So this is a Gaunt brand. This is an older vintage brand. I don't think they are still around. It was never like a super huge brand by any means, unless I missed it. Beefy tag. You got it, Coley. When you look at these guys and you feel these tags, you can just feel how old something is. Like this tag right here is so meaty and so beefy. It tells me. Plus, listen to this thing. Listen. That's how old it is. That is all about the bass, no treble. Like literally. So it's got a really nice kind of stripe pattern, which I don't think you guys can see on here. But this is so totally like late 90s right here. And the weight of this, guys, look for these. Like my mom did construction and stuff for years and painted houses. And she was always looking for this weight because she could work in this weight of shirt and not have to worry about like getting holes or anything in it just because it was so meaty and heavy. So these are always good to get. And then of course I'm going to do things like put like workwear and all sorts of different keywords in there to like get people to understand that the weight of this is like a super heavy duty. So I'll usually just, obviously I'll usually just write, heavy duty, heavy weight, workwear, 90s nostalgia, quality. That's another one I use a lot when describing something that's got like more meat and potatoes to it, is put like quality on there. So for dress shirts, this is how I do it. I get it all smoothed out. Then I just take the corner here and lay that out. And then I'm going to take the corner here, lay that out. And then we're just going to get any of these little, let's see, is that? We're going to do our experiment, guys. We're going to do our little trick here. It's got one little kind of tiny piece of goobery on there. Get yourself a nail file, not metal. You want it to be like kind of a finer grit. Retro's here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take, this has got just a little bit of gooberies on it. You're going to just take your nail file and you're just going to file on it. And what it'll do is it just peels up those goobers and lifts it up and off of the shirt. You don't want to do too much because you don't want to totally disturb the look of the shirt. And then what I do is I take my little spray bottle, my little water bottle that you guys know I always use, and a rag, clean rag. Make sure you're using a rag that is like super knit, and I don't use white. All the white rags usually leave little things behind. Found that out recently, that like these little kitchen towel ones work better than the washcloths because the fibers are like, the strings are way heftier. So what I do is I just spray just a little bit on, not too much, and then just go over it. And that got like, I mean, that's like 90% off. Let's see. We're going to give it 3 more seconds of a fingernail, and then we're going to move on. Oh, there we go. Perfect. 1, 2, I committed to 3. 3 seconds. Okay, that's the commitment. I have to do that with things with myself. Otherwise, I will sit there and try to make it perfect for 11 hours. All right, let me spray that. I know this seems like such a crazy little way to make it work, but it works. Then I take my other little guy here, my little my $5.99 thrift store blow dryer. Dry that off. And there we go. Perfection in a pup. I know I said 3 seconds, but it's literally off of the shirt. There we go. All right. Picture here. And we're going to mess with the exposure a little bit because I already know this one's going to look really insane if I don't. Because that dark green is one of those colors that can look really weird. And that still looks kind of wet there. Still looks wet. Gotta blow dry it one more time, folks. One more blow dry. Oh, it's not on hot, that's why. That makes sense. There we go. It's getting hot in here, so turn on all your blow dryers. I am getting so hot, I'm going to turn on the blow dryer with a little bit up and a little bit up. All right, getting a picture here of the shoulders. Then we're going to do our length. And then we're going to do our sleeve. And then we'll get our chest here. Very nice. That's a pretty time. And there we go. Get the dog hair off. Don't need that. Picture of that. And then we're going to flip it. Flip it good. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Ding, ding. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. One of the funnest concerts I ever went to in my entire existence was Devo. Has anyone here ever seen Devo live? First of all, Fred Armisen is in Devo, which that's wild, and I did not realize. I mean, he's not like an original member, but that was like pretty wild to know that. And then number 2, they put on the best like visual show that I have ever seen ever. And I've been to like, EDM shows, dubstep. I've been to 4,200 punk shows. I have never ever seen anything like the Devo show. Like, first of all, I didn't even realize I knew as many Devo songs as I did. I wasn't even going to see Devo. I was actually at a thing called Punk Rock Bowling, which is in Las Vegas, and they just happened to be playing at it. And we weren't going to stay, but I was like, I don't know, it sounds fun. And so we stayed, and I was like, what is going on? Like, they have these huge screens with all these crazy visuals that they were playing with like costume changes and like a million different kinds of keyboards and stuff. It was so much fun. Like, Justin and I literally were just like, I'm so glad we didn't miss that. Like, it was just one of those really cool, unexpected things. Yeah, Coley, it was amazing. I really dislike when my camera phone doesn't cooperate with the colors. I know, Melly Mel, if you, all you got to do is just mess with the exposure. You'll get it. I still am playing with mine constantly. Every photo I wind up kind of having to change the exposure a little bit. I know, tricky. I found a pair of Stacey Adams pants yesterday. Auntie, I don't know what that is. What are Stacey Adams pants? Is that like a popular brand? This is how much I know women's clothing, guys. Stacey Adams pants. Is it like a, let's see. Oh, okay. They're, what are they like? Oh, wow. Those are cool. Oh my gosh. Those are amazing. First of all, I don't think they're Stacey Adams, but those are like insane. Dude, those are so punk and cool. Black jogger pants. So they're just kind of like a variety of pants. Oh, wait, there's some men's stuff too. Huh. Flynn dress pants, men's casual wear. Interesting. I'd never heard of that brand before. I love hearing about new things. Yeah, the nail file thing works really good. I know it seems weird, but it just takes off. It's for like those things that have like the outside goo, but you don't want to like get it with goo gone. You want to just be able to like kind of file it off a little bit. That's why I spend way too much time perfecting. I can't stop. Me and the fabric buzzer. I know. Steph, coming from someone, I have so many little like Piccadilly things, and I get like obsessed about little things I need to like scratch off or whatnot. I just try to set myself a time. Like, okay, I'm giving you get 30 seconds on this. And that's it. If at 30 seconds it's not perfect, move along. Especially because people on Depop a lot of times don't want it to be perfect. So that's so funny. You saw MC Hammer. Oh my gosh. That would be so fun. Like, can't touch this. Remember that? Can't touch this. My music's on the mic and my mic's on the music. Every time. Ooh, that would be so fun. So cool. What brand was that shirt? This is a Gaunt. So not a huge brand. It's an older brand, 90s brand. They always did really heavy duty men's dress shirts. I saw the name and know the shoes are expensive. Yeah, that's interesting. They look like probably like $40 resale pants, somewhere in there. There's so much going on stage. I can't imagine. Who did he play with? I am so jelly to that. Like, who did he play with? Was there anybody else like that played with him? You know, I never got to see him back in the day that I would have loved to see is like Belle Biv DeVoe. Oh my gosh, that would have been so great. Or Chris Cross. Or like, I love all that music from that era. I love all that like, you know, pop hip hop stuff. Oh, I love it so much. And I never saw Boys to Men. We'll love to see that. Like, there's so many things I didn't get a chance to see. Like, I was just young enough that I like was too young to see any of that. It's kind of like with like Nirvana. I missed Nirvana by like 2 years. I'm just that age group that like missed a lot of stuff because I just wasn't quite old enough for it. So he had a bunch of smaller acts with him. 1991. Cole, you know what you should do? Go to Set FM. So Set FM, it's a website. Find that concert. You can look it up by date or look it up by year. Just go to MC Hammer and then look up the year. And it'll tell you like who he played with and stuff. I do that with stuff all the time because I found out like I've seen some crazy bands I didn't realize I had seen because they opened up for people. Like I saw Cake. There was like 14 people on a side stage. And I realized that's who I had seen. My son was like newborn. Like, so this would have been like 90. Oh no, maybe he wasn't with me. I think it was like 93 or something like that. So it might have been before he was born. But like that's how I found out I've seen some people. I won free tickets to Aerosmith and they only played the blues. Oh my gosh, what? When was this retro? That doesn't seem like an Aerosmith thing to do at all. One of my old managers toured with Vanilla Ice. Oh my gosh. Doom, 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 doom. I still know all the words to that song. Boyz II Men was my first concert at the Richmond, Virginia State Fair. Oh, that would be so amazing. I just was too young to see all of that. Like, I wanted to go see Public Enemy. I wanted to see I was so obsessed with that music because that's what was so popular at that time. And I wanted to see oh my gosh, I was too young for Debbie Gibson. I wanted to see Tiffany. I was too young for Sinead O'Connor. Like, I missed that whole era. I was like 10 in that era, so I was like just too young. Boyz II Men are doing a residency in Vegas. I have seen that. I saw a thing on that. That'd be so fun to go to. Yeah, NKOTB. It's like I would go see them again, but it was my first concert I ever went to. I think I was 12 years old, or maybe I was 11. And I don't ever want to taint that memory of that because I went with my mom and a friend. My other friend won tickets on the radio, and her parents wouldn't let her go because they were too secular. So she gave the tickets to me. So me and my mom and my friend Jeanette Hammond went. And so it's like I don't want to like taint that memory, if that makes any sense. So, Southern, what is going on? Yeah, retro. That is rough. That is definitely rough. I must be the same age as your son. I saw you're in your mid-30s. Pickles, I love you. I'm not, but I act like it. There's a song by a band called The Descendants, which is my favorite band ever. And they have a song called I Don't Want to Grow Up. And that's literally me. So you're only as old as you feel, right? 2004 in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They were kind of like doing that mellow thing in the early 2000s. I can kind of see that. That's a bummer. Rob Thomas will always have my heart. Train opening for Matchbox. First row for everything. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Great. Thrifty, you and I, first concert in KOTB. I was 6 years old with Boyz II Men. Wow. Do you you went and saw them when you were 6, or you just were 6 when they were out? I saw NKOTB when they did a joint tour with BSB. Such a great concert. Oh, Backstreet Boys? No way. Did they do like a concert with them? That's so crazy. I think I have an NKOTB t-shirt for sale somewhere. Do I have that up? I don't know. Sweat sheesh. And I played piano with Pat Monahan backstage. Whoa. That's what is happening. Gracious, you've lived a life. You've lived a life. All right. We gotta get back to this. I like taking little breaks. You know how my brain works, guys. I gotta have my little breaks. Okay. Oh, did I get a picture of that tag? I think I did. Did I not? High possibility I didn't. No, high possibility and probability that we did not get a picture of that tag because that feels like something I would do. All right, so we're going to hold this down with our handy dandy little inexpensive tweezers and we're gonna go from there. Had I to do this over again, I probably wouldn't have bought purple tweezers, although I guess there's nothing wrong with it. It just is like, I think it just looks kind of funky in some of the pictures, but that's okay. If they were not purple and they were like just straight up silver, they probably have my like meaty thumbprints all over them anyway. All right, let's get this in there. And that is the Gaunt shirt, or Gant. It might be Gant. I always thought it was Gaunt, but who knows if that is true. 1173. Well, it's only a large. That's a pretty large. All right, the chest is 23. The sleeves are 23.5. Yeah, that's a big large. Our length is 30 and 32. That's more like that's a very generous large. And then our shoulders are 20. That's definitely a generous large. It was public LO. He autographed my stomach. Gracious. Good gracious. Oh my gosh. There's a guy who puts a doll that points to things and all his pictures on eBay. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? For real? Like a little finger? Wait, what is happening? I need to know the name of this person immediately. I need to see this. Like a doll hand? Like a finger? Like they use the finger to point at things? No. What? Like a tiny hand? Coley and I are like, we're going to need to see a picture of this. That is wild. Lies have not been told. The doll points. Does it have like movable fingers? Oh my gosh. All right, next thing we've got here. This is kind of a weird and rare one. I don't remember getting this. So maybe you guys remember me getting this, or maybe this is something from the garage. So it just looks totally plain on the front. It has that kind of like, oh, it's not missing a button, is it? Oh no, I just hadn't buttoned it. It's got kind of like a safari look to it. Oh, I just steamed this stuff a while ago. I'm trying to tell if this is still, yeah, I think this is still steam. It's still got some steam wetness on it. So I'll put it back, pick something else out. But look at this. Ready? Totally plain, unassuming. And then it's got this wild, like total Y2K punk star. Ready? You want to know how I know it's old? Take a look. We got this star. And then we've got the same exact nautical star on the back. So it's got to be like a Y2K thing because I was really big back then. Henceforth the tattoo. So pretty crazy Banana Republic guide. Like, I'm wondering if maybe the people that worked there could have worn this, perhaps. I mean, party in the back, baby. So this is definitely one of those shirts where I will feature the back before I feature the front because we want to stop people in the scroll. Does this have a date on it? Oh, yeah, it's got some oldies. When is this? Oh, no, this is new. Wow. Really? This must be like a retro throwback to something then because this says spring of 20. Really? I mean, it is thinner. I guess that makes sense. What is it made out of? Let's see. That's a 100% cotton too. That's surprising. I mean, this one definitely tricked me. This has to be some sort of throwback to something they used to have then. You know how Levi's is doing that like silver tab throwback, and there's all these companies doing that. I mean, it makes sense if I were to listen to it, like listen. It's definitely got a tenor. So I guess that makes sense. That's like a really weird tag I've never seen before too. Interesting. All right, this is still drying though. I can tell because it's still got the steam marks on it. So we will put that there and then do this one. Okay, so here's another Nike. We got the Nike Dry Fit. Why did I buy this? Well, number one, it's Nike. Number two, it's Dry Fit. And then number three, it is a 2XL. You give me that, you mix in Dry Fit, Nike, 2XL, it's getting bought. Now, red isn't the most popular color for men to purchase. It's probably one of the least popular colors. However, Nike's Nike, right? I know this will sell, especially in that size, and it's in really good condition too. There isn't like a bunch of stains or pilling or anything like that. All I can think about is this guy that sells things on eBay that has a finger that points at their stuff. Like, that might be the most epic thing I've ever heard. Also insanely terrifying, yet also very cool. I mean, you're talking to a girl that likes the a little bit of the strange and unusual. So let's see, is that going to look okay like that? Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's fine. But our exposure's at -7, so that's not going to work. Let's take a look and see how that red looks. Oh, no. So that is an example of that does not look at all like what that looks like. So we're going to erase that one. And then we're just going to play around with the exposures until we find the right look. So I'm either going to need to go up high. Most likely -3 is probably where we're going to land. That's usually about where I land on red. Because I don't want the red to look too insane red. So when you get a red shirt, red is probably one of the hardest colors. So what I'll usually do is take a picture. Now where I would like this to optimally be is like a -0.15, but the phone goes to -3. So I always just go over to brightness and then just change it just a little tiny bit. Bring it up just a little bit. That way it doesn't look too dark. And that looks like what our shirt looks like. So that's perfect. All right. So get it as close as you can. And then if you have to go in and change it, switch it up a little bit just so it looks like the right color, then you're good. And the up close ones never are wonky. It's just usually those like far away ones on the red is always difficult. So I want to try to get that dry fit word in there if I can. As we know, we want to do that for our length. The more we can do that, the better, right, folks? And then we're going to get chest. Yeah, I don't see any flaws on this one so far at all. So that's great. It's always nice when you can just list things and you don't have to put, by the way, it has blah, 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 blah. It's always nice when you don't have to do that. All right, we're gonna flip this here and get the back. Yeah, I'd say this is a crispy baby. I'm not seeing, I don't think I see anything with this one. That's great. So once again, this is going to be probably 1 dot too dark. Let's try just putting it on 0. I think it's going to be too bright. Let's take a look. Yeah. So look at how bright that is at just a 0. It almost looks orange. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to take our other one here. We're going to go into edit. We're going to scroll over to brightness. And I'm just going to make it just a tiny bit brighter. Perfect. And that looks like our shirt. All right, let's get it down. Get a picture of the tag. And then moving right along. Let's see. I want to make a pointer finger wearing a Michael Jackson glove, but I'll probably distract. Right. You're like, Billie Jean was not this t-shirt. You'll be like, this shirt is a real Thriller JK. Like, you could just do all these like little Michael Jackson things. That'd be so fun. Oh my goodness. I don't know. That's where my brain goes, guys. It always is going to go to a strange and unique place. Have you ever sold any Smiley Store OAP shirts, or you don't deal with unbranded? I do unbranded for sure. Anime stuff is interesting because it's one of those things that either really, really, really sells or really, really doesn't. Like, I had to learn early on, don't buy anything Naruto unless it's like 2002 to 2004 or earlier. Don't buy anything after that because it won't sell. But then there's other stuff that sells insanely fast. I had a Spirited Away t-shirt that I probably should have asked $20 more for because it sold like in a day and a half, like immediately. So it's just one of those weird things where it's like, it's how many were made and how popular is that specific manga or anime at that time. And then, of course, if you can find the older stuff, because they made so little anime stuff back in like Y2K era compared to now. I mean, you walk in Hot Topic now and 3/4 of the store is all anime stuff. And so now it's so easy to find stuff that's kind of like overly saturated. But like, you go back in time and there was so few. So if it's an older one, I'm in. Newer stuff, yeah, I kind of start staying away from it. Oh, Dragon Ball Z. I personally have not had a ton of luck with Dragon Ball Z. I've had Dragon Ball Z stuff sit. I think the last Dragon Ball Z t-shirt I had sold for like $5 or something. So, but hey, I am not an expert on that. And I would definitely say, you know, anytime you're looking at anything like that, just Google Lens it. Get yourself an idea of what other stuff is selling for at that time, because people that are into anime are super into it and are super into certain specific genres. So you'll know right away if you've got something. If you do Google Lens and you can't find it, that's huge, right? What up, Tenacious? How can you tell the age if it's unbranded? AOP, age of product. It's anime's tough. I mean, again, you can judge by the material, right? What does it feel like? What's the thickness? Most of the time, if you use Google Lens, you can figure it out. The other thing you can do with anime, I have some anime scrolls up for sale. So what I did is I went in, because most anime stuff will have the characters, but then it'll also have like, you know, Pokemon, Age of Legends, or it'll have something on it that tells you the movie or the series that came out. And then what I do is then I just look it up on Google, like, when did this movie come out? When did this series come out? And then you can get a pretty good idea of the age, because most anime stuff, they don't really release stuff after things have come out. It's kind of like video game merchandise, right? So Black Ops 6 is about to come out. They're not making Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 5 t-shirts anymore. They're only making Black Ops 6 t-shirts, right? Why? Because they usually do what's relevant. Any video game companies, BioWare, BioWorld, Blizzard, any of those companies or any of the anime companies will always put out what is popular at that time. The only other time that you could be possibly a little bit tricky is if they're doing like a reboot of something old, but then you can usually tell by the quality of the material of the shirt or the item, if that makes any sense. All over print. I thought age of product. I was thinking age of product because that's an old marketing term. I'm like, whoa, that's so weird. I haven't heard that in a long time. All over print. Wrong career, Charity. Are you hitting garage sales this weekend? Oh yeah, baby. Of course I am. I'm hoping there is some. I looked on, let's look on Craigslist and see if there is any, because I looked yesterday and I didn't see any. Usually by today, they've started putting them up, but we are getting into a weird time of year. Ooh, it looks like there is one tomorrow. Ooh, down in, okay. Not a great price, but, oh, eBay seller overstock, tons of women's clothing, good brands, men's, kids, stuffed animals. You know, it's interesting. I've been to a few of these that are really great, and then I've been to a few of these where people are trying to actually just sell all the stuff that they couldn't sell. If you can find a reseller that's kind of like going out of business, you can usually get some good deals. Otherwise, a lot of times it's like their stuff, you know, that they couldn't sell. That's funny. Yeah, that's a flaggy for sure. Man, I was getting all excited. Let's look on Saturday. Yeah, nothing yet. But it might wind up being a tangent weekend, meaning I go out for one sale and then I just follow signs to all the other ones. Let's see, what year is this? This feels like a little bit of quality. Let's take a look. 2017. Yeah, not bad. Definitely nothing. It didn't feel super new, but it does have an extra button on it. And that kind of stuff is definitely, all those little things help to add up. So if you guys have extra buttons on your shirts, make sure that you're including that either in a photo, if you've got the photo budget for it, meaning that you have enough space for your photos, or just put it down in the description, like, you know, a bonus extra button. So yeah, for the all over print, as far as the Dragon Ball Z thing goes, one, I would feel like, what does the material feel like? If you can't Google Lens it, you should be able to, or you should be able to discern in the Dragon Ball Z, you should be able to get certain characters out or something. There should be something in there that tells you of the age. If it is an all over print, I'm going to say it's probably newer. They didn't do a lot of all over print anime stuff back in the day. Most of the anime stuff you'll find that's older, it'll only take up about this much of the shirt. So kind of like if you condensed mine in to right around the scully, it's usually about that size. So they're emotionally attached, but still need to get rid of it. I know. And that's the other thing. So that's what happens when I go to these sales of resellers. Now I scored pretty big at one, I guess it was last summer. Yeah, because there's a summer last summer. So last summer I went to a reseller's one, and I just think he doesn't like to deal with shipping stuff. So in fact, I have some of the stuff still that's about to be listed. I have like 3 Rock Band drum sets. I've got like 4 Rock Band guitars, 3 Wii's, 2 Xboxes, a PS3, I believe. And I wound up getting all of it for like $70 or something, just because he didn't want to deal with it. So I've been waiting to list those until next week so that I can hit the holiday people purchasing them. So I can get them up on Facebook too, because I'd rather sell them on Facebook Marketplace than anywhere personally. So we shall see. Yeah, the emotionally attached ones are hard. I've definitely been to some reseller sales where they did not want to get rid of stuff. And it's like every item is their special item, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, I got that. And then there's like a 3-hour-long story about each thing. So I'm like, nope. Like I had taken pictures of this is how I work. I took pictures of a camera case that we all took pictures of the other day because I've gotten it from a free bin. Now, when I went on to actually list it, mine is missing a strap, which normally isn't a big deal, but you can get that exact bag brand new on the Amazon for $19 with free shipping. So I'm like, it's not even worth me. I have a little jack here. There we go. It's not even worth it for me to even put it up. Like I'm going to make $1.50. It's not worth my time. So Justin goes, oh, we could just have it at a garage sale. I said, or you can go in the pile in the box in the hallway, which is this is going to the thrift store. And he's like, I like that idea even better. So that's where it's going. It's going to the thrift store because it's just not worth my time. Now, if you can find a reseller that isn't just having their stuff that's in a thrift store pile that won't sell, you're great. But if you're finding those people, like I went to another one last summer, and you could tell it was a guy that had started buying stuff and just was like over it. And he had like new in box toys, like vintage toys, but they were like destroyed. The boxes were like completely destroyed and they weren't like good enough of things to be worth anything. I mean, you could maybe make like $5 or $6 off of each item, but like not worth the time and blah, blah, blah. And that one, I mean, he was asking basically what he was trying to ask on eBay. And so they're like, oh, you're emotionally attached to the fact that you thought you were going to make money on this and then you're not doing it. The best one I ever got was that dude that Isaiah, my son, and I split that carload full of stuff from that guy that he had bought stuff for a whole year at Goodwill, thinking he was going to resell it. And it just sat in his closet and he never touched it. So we got all of that stuff. Let's see, we got the entire carload for like, I think it was like $250 or something. And Isaiah and I split it. I mean, we still have stuff listed. $1,000, $1,200 or something, $1,300 maybe. Just in profit off of that because he just didn't want to deal with that. Those are the ones I want to find. It's like they're admitting defeat. You know what, Gracious, you're exactly that's exactly what it is. It's like that time has passed. They're not going to do it, but they don't want to like admit that they don't want to do it. It's too much. I totally agree. That's exactly what it is. Arizona, what is up? I'm so happy to see you. It's been a minute. Guys, they have Arizona, and I'm very excited for your guys' interview tonight. Arizona and Hustle are interviewing Bearded Thrifter. I'm so excited. He was one of the very first people I ever followed that was doing this. I was following him on FB because I wasn't even on TT. And he's amazing. I think he's so great. Him and his wife are just really, really cool people. And so I'm really excited for that one. So, all right. What we've got here is a pair of Zoo York shorts. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of put away some of my summer stuff, but these have that very like loose and baggy skate aesthetic, which is just so big and popular right now. So I want to get these listed and get these up while that aesthetic is popular, because by this time next year, who knows? Maybe the loose and baggy thing isn't in. So I want to make sure I get these up there. If these were just a standard little pair of like, I don't know, 32s or 34s, I probably would put them in a box and just wait till next summer to list them. But these are like a 40. So, and they're Zoo Yorks. They're just a really good quality. They have a quality feel to them as well. They've got like a drawstring. They just have like a lot of meat and potatoes to them. So I wanted to get them listed and not have them just sit in a box, all winter long. All right, we're going to get the rise on these. We're going to do inseam on these. Yeah, so if you guys aren't following Arizona, he's in here right here. I see him. Make sure you guys follow him so you can watch that. That's at, let's see, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Arizona, is that right? If he's still here or someone that knows. I think I'm right about that. I set myself an alarm. So I was bummed. I missed last week's. I ended up with that cold and I was nights. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock or something. I was out. I was sleeping night poo. All right, getting all those. And then obviously I want to get this logo in here too so people can see it. And these are really nice. I mean, these feel like barely used. We love Bearded. I know. Yeah, Arizona. Hey, guess what? Turtles in a half shell. Yeah, I think I'm right about that, guys. I think it's 7 Central or 7 Pacific, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, if I'm not. Okay, yes, I am correct on that. Good. All right, getting pictures of all the other goodies in here. And these feel like a fairly new pair. I don't think these are like super old or anything. But we're going to get a picture of the label here. Zoo York, they're called Zoo York Unbreakables. 70% cotton, 20% polyester, which automatically tells me they're not old. The more polyester you see in an item, the more you know that it is not new. Unless it's like 100% old school. A lot of like old workout gear, like tennis jackets and stuff, you'll see polyester. More than likely, you'll see it as acrylic. But every once in a while, you'll see it in the old ones, but not very much. You know, it's interesting. If you would have asked me 6 months ago to tell you about material blends and brands and styles and keywords and cuts of things, nothing. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what a button up or button down shirt was. I just always called them dress shirts. Like, I knew nothing. So it just goes to show hard work, perseverance, lots of videos. You know, if you want something bad enough, you'll make it happen. And I've always been interested in like Y2K and vintage clothes, but I didn't know anything about it. So I had to learn. And fortunately, I have this amazing, awesome kid who helped me to learn a lot of it, or at least steered me in the right direction of people that knew what they were talking about to learn about. A lot of Tubi Ubies videos, a lot of those. Did you guys has anybody seen that amazing video that Chris at Peak, K-Way, and Surfs made? Have you guys watched that? I actually just finished it the other night. I still have it up. It's called Ranking 75 Clothing Brands to Resell Online. And it's a 2-hour long video where they take all the brands, like the men's brands, basically, that are popular or big sellers, and they rate them in S, A, B, C, and D categories. It's so good. The only part of it I didn't agree with, and I agree with Chris at Peak more, is K-Way and Surfs are not Levi's fans. And Chris at Peak and I are both like big Levi's sellers. And so I just thought that was so funny because they kept wanting to take it out of like the A category and put it to B or C. And it's like, no, if you know how to date stamp Levi's and you know how to get them for inexpensive, they're totally worth flipping. And you have to know the right cuts and stuff like that. But I just thought that was so funny. But it's a really good video. If you guys have time and you have not watched it yet, I highly recommend watching it. I learned about a few brands in there that I had never heard of before. So now it's like I know to look at them. I'll look for them at yard sales for sure. Okay, the rise on those are an 11. Our waist was a 40. Looks like the waist is still a 40. So that's, or no, well, they was a 42. Now it's a 41. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, perfect. Okay, next thing we've got here is one of the things we always take pictures of, you guys know. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren. It's a vintage one. Now, it says XL20, and you're like, XL20? How is that possible? There's no way this is an extra large. That's because this is a youth extra large 20. So this is youth extra large and men's extra small are usually almost the exact same size. Now, this isn't a 100%, but it's almost always. So I will list this under youth, but I will put in the title description, youth XL20, men's XXS for extra small. And I will write that in the description because there is not many of this kind of shirt out there in an extra small. They're very, very, very hard to find. You will not find them very often. They're like, you know, and in the wild, you got to get like your binoculars and be looking in bushes and stuff for them because you don't find them very often. So for someone that's a smaller stature, for a guy that's smaller stature, or a woman that wants to wear this style, and this is what I always call like a rugby polo. It has the two discernible stripes here in the center. So it has that like football aesthetic. And by football, I mean FUTBOL, like the soccer, and also a rugby aesthetic. So I'm going to be using all of those keywords as things to help it pop. So I will put that in the title and in the description. Now on the item specifics, I still technically need to list it as a youth item. However, anyone that is this small knows that they also can look in the youth items for that. So yes, it is on YouTube, guys. I will tell you exactly what it's called. It is called, word for word, it is called Ranking 75 Clothing Brands to Resell Online. So once again, Ranking 75 clothing brands to resell online. And it's under on the Tubies, it's Ubies, it's under Caleb Sells. So CALEBSELLS. CALEBSELLS. It was probably one of the best brands videos I have ever seen. So, and it's great because you've got 3 different, guys on there that all sell 3 very different kinds of aesthetic of clothing. And they literally break it down and rate every single, it's so good, you guys. It's really, really good. And I know that he also is still checking the comments. So if you guys have any questions on that, make sure you ask. Because I had left a couple comments and he got back to me. So definitely check that out. Ranking 75 clothing brands to resell online. Caleb Sells. Thank you, Shop the Seller, for writing that down. Yeah, you guys are welcome. It's a 2-hour, 100% worth it. 100% worth it. I have a note, one of my little notebook over here. I mean, I scratched down so many notes because it was just so good. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. Like, I didn't know what G4 was. I had never seen, what were some of the other ones? Sims. I had never come across Sims before. 10,000 was a brand I had never heard of before. So there's just so many in there that I was like, wow, I need to be looking at these at garage sales because I would have had no idea. So Tenacious, thank you. Thank you for writing that down. What Tenacious said exactly there. Pencils when you watch. Yeah, take notes, really, honestly. And then what I did is at the very, very end of it, I screenshot because they put it in like actual categories of like A, B, C, D, and it has the brands. I wish I could flip you guys around. I would show you, but you'll see it on the video. At the very end, you can screenshot it, and then that way you have all the brands there. Now, I agreed with probably 95% of what they had in there. They put Carhartt a little lower than I probably would. Of course, they're also talking about new Carhartt. If you're looking at older Carhartt, I probably would have put it more in like the lower B versus upper C section, but that only is for, the older stuff. They also had Lululemon and B. I might put that down to a C at this point because there's just so much of it. Not that you can't make money at it. You totally can. But so there's a few things in there that I was like, but so 95% of it I agreed with. And it was so cool to see these brands I'd never seen before. So anyways, yeah. Oh, 573 likes, Scott. I see you over on the tubes too. I saw you over there. I saw you. Heidi ho. All right, let's get this up here and get our lit roller here. This one's in great condition too. I don't see any pinholes or anything along those lines.
You using your phone right now?
No, I'm not. Oh yeah, I'm using my phone. Yeah, I'm taking pictures.
I need a code in a second.
You need a code, a secret password. You got it. All right, let's get this all rolled out here. Gonna kind of bring these down a little bit so they don't look so staunchy. Okay, ready? 052889. Yep. All right. Getting a picture of this. And oh yeah. So this is a good example of when you need to bring down your exposure. So if I left this exposure up, does anyone ever have issues with like their clothing, black clothing, where it looks like all gray? Let me show you guys something. So if you have your exposure up too high, this is kind of standard where exposures will be for darker clothing. You're at a 0 to 0.7, anywhere in there. If you take that same shirt and just lower your exposure down to -3, you will end up with such a better quality photo. So just down a little bit on that exposure makes a huge difference. Yeah, Melly Mel. So that's how you do it. You just, I want to show you guys that. You just want to lower the exposure so that you don't end up, because that's called a blown photo. So it's just way too light. Whereas that. So all you got to do is just mess around with the exposure a little bit. Hopefully that helps. K-Rock, what is good? All right, let's get a picture here of the shoulders. Yep. You want to just come here and look at it because I accidentally showed my screen for a second here. So if you want to come look at it, you're welcome to. I can text it to you. That sounds good. All right, just a second, guys. Okay. All right. Okay, shoulder image here. And checking our exposure again on this. Sometimes when you get up close, you got to lower it even more. So when I'm doing the shoulders on these shirts and I'm up close, I'll go down to like a -1 on it. Otherwise, what happens is the color of the shirt in the close-up photos is going to be totally different than the color of the shirt in the far away photos. And it makes the consumer feel like it's an untrusted item because it's like your brain says, oh, well, that looks totally different than it does in the other photo. The mind doesn't know which one to believe. So it automatically will just, they'll just scroll past yours because it's like confusing to the brain, if that makes any sense. So you want that continuity. You want that consistency as much as possible. For sure. Okay, yeah, for sure. She's a dirt valley girl. What is up? J.A., what is going on? I'm happy to see you. Oh, K-Rock, I'm so happy. It's either K-Rock or Croc. I'm not sure. I have to get a larger light like yours. I moved and don't have the best lighting. Yeah, that is definitely something that is worth investing in 100%, because pictures are going to be what sells 50% of the population, right? 50% of your kinesthetic learners are going to buy off the pictures. 50% are cognitive learners, and they're going to buy off the description. So if you don't have good lighting, you're going to end up canceling out 50% of the population. Now, when I first got started, I don't know about you guys, I didn't have a lot of money to invest into fancy lighting and stuff. So at the very beginning, I had a stand-up light, the ones that have like the sconcing on the outside. I just took that off, popped in a bright, cool daylight bulb, and I just propped it on the back of my office chair and just had it shining in, and then took photos like that until my son, came across some other lighting, and he was able to put down in the photo room because he was staying with us at the time. But before that, I didn't have that. So right, because the camera tends to alter the true color. Yeah. And so if you can do that, like optimally, what you want to look for is daylight or cool for sure. And then the next thing you want to look for is it's your lumens. So you want your lumens on your lighting to be at the barest minimum is like 5,000. Really, you want like 5,500 to 6K. I mean, they make 6,500 ones too, which are awesome as well. But if you can kind of veer towards those lumens that are a little bit on the higher side, you're just going to get a way truer color tone. It's going to be way more like daylight than anything else. And that's what our brains like to see, right? So I think Charity should do setup efficiency consultant hints. I've thought about doing like, I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in, is doing like, consultations for whatever you guys are having issues with, whether it be like, anything really. I mean, whether it's, marketing, or it's pricing, or it's keywords, or it's your setup, or just kind of like any problem solving, helping to create, schedules or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know if anybody would be interested in doing that as kind of like a one-on-one thing, but I mean, I know if I would have had, I guess I kind of did. I mean, I guess I kind of did because my son helped me. I mean, you guys, when I say he helped me, like, you have no idea. Like, I didn't know what Columbia was, the brand. I know that seems so wild to think that, like, I didn't know what any of that was. But last summer, when he went garage selling with me every weekend, that's how I learned brands and stuff, was him teaching me. So it's like, I have the marketing background and I have the sales background. I also did, I guess I was kind of like I don't know what you want to call it. We always called it like a online business rescuer. But basically taking someone that's having an issue with their businesses online, and then I'd help plan and come up with creative strategies to be able to tackle those issues, whether it be like a marketing or digital imaging, or, they were doing like, pay-click advertisement and like all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm not spilling out my resume. I'm just saying that so I had that into the background done. Like I knew how to do that part of it, but I certainly didn't know anything about brands. So it's like, if you can find someone that can help you out with that stuff, I don't know. I've thought about it. I don't know if that sounds like, I don't know. Is it weird to think about doing that? Is that strange? Do people offer that? Is that a real thing? Is that even something that people do in this line of work? Like I said, I've done it in other lines of work. I've done it for realtors. I've done it for, brick and mortar stores, boutiques. I've just never done it for like this kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, folks. I don't know if that is something, but Tanisha said, heck yeah, I know I would be. I have my office, but I'm taking pictures of my foyer because my office is small. I'm very mechanically inclined and know I can figure it out, but something to fit in my office, but I just can't get there. There's always something else that grabs priority. I hear that. Not strange, your knowledge has value. Okay. I guess that's right. They are professional organizers. It's kind of the same thing. Oh, I never really thought about it that way. Man, I love those girls. Those girls that do all the organizing with all the little like containers and stuff. Oh, I love that show. What is that show called? I can't remember. I've learned so much from your at charity. Oh, I'm so thankful. Oh, goodness. Tenacious. That makes me feel good. Thanks, you guys. It really does make me feel good. Like for real. Like human to human, personal. I'm happy to help. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see. What do we got next here? We got a pair of lucky jeans. So why did I buy these? Pop quiz, hot shots. Why would I buy these? Why would I buy this specific pair of jeans? What would be the reasoning behind this? Let me put these up here. I'll give you guys a couple to answer it. And then you tell me why you think I would have bought these. Because I don't buy every pair of Lucky brand jeans I come across. That is for sure. I'm only buying specific ones. Let's take a look at the color of these and see how that looks. I think that's one shade too light. Let's go down to 0. Take a look at it now. Okay. We want to get jeans, especially that true tone is so important. Oh yeah, that looks better. Okay. All right. We're going to get a measurement of the waist here. And then we will get the hips next. So waist. And then, like I said, with men's jeans, usually the hips are going to be somewhere. So you got to lower the exposure because it's looking a little bright and light. Men's jeans, like I said, are usually somewhere in the 1 inch above the zipper. And then in the center here, like I said, you just pop open that middle and then boom. And then do our inseam here. And then I always do the ankle, especially right now with wider ankles being much more popular than, the smaller legs. And we're going to get a picture of the back here. And then let's take a look. Oh, got to change our exposure a little bit. Perfect. And then I always get the back pocket and then I get the tag. I started doing it with Levi's originally, but now I do it with all of them because people want to know, is that back tag like cracked? Is it leather? Is it plastic? Is it stitched all around? Does it have a hole in it? Does your belt go through it? Does the belt go under it, over it? Like Lucky jeans usually have belt throughs, meaning that the belt goes all the way through it so that people can see the brand, but not all brands do that. So people like to see that. All right. Whiskers. Yes. So that's number 1. I'm going to get these. There are brands out there right now. Levi's is even doing this. They're actually having the whiskering, which is those horizontal lines, put into the material because they recognize that that look is so popular right now. Jennifer's here. Woo woo. Yeah. So whiskers. Exactly. Correct. Tenacious. Sweetbriar says whiskers and wide leg baggy. Exactly. Wide leg baggy says gracious. I don't think they're selvage. Let me look. No, just regular, but that is a good question. Always look. Large size, baggy whiskers, possibly Y2K, sizing, exactly. I'm looking into listing on Depop after watching a live. Think it would definitely be helpful. Absolutely. Depop's great. I love Depop. Okay, let's see. What else do we got here? Yes, the whiskers. Yes, so a couple things on these. Why would I buy these? So I'm not buying every pair of Lucky jeans because some of them will sell for $9. Is it really worth it to spend all your time listing for $9? Not really that much, right? However, with these, we've got a couple different things. One, they're a dark wash that has the whiskering. So that's huge, horizontal whiskering. Number two, if you look at the material, can you see how the stitching is going down vertically? What that does for jeans is that helps the jean to not shrink as much. So inside of your jeans, you've got a weave called warp and weft. And so normally jeans are kind of like this. They're kind of woven in like this. Sometimes they'll have like a downward slope like this. They'll be cross. This is like your typical. With these, your vertical lines are the predominant line, and then your other weave goes over the top of that. So the vertical lines keep the jean length. So you'll normally find that anything that has that more vertical predominant look to it, Y2K jeans a lot have that, will always have less shrinkage than jeans that are warp and weft. So all jeans from the 90s are warp and weft, meaning they have that weave. That's why when you find a pair of Levi's, now I have come across one pair once that wasn't, but in all the Levi's I've ever had, it's always like this in the 90s. And the problem with that is that because they're woven together like this, the strings pull on each other and it actually shrinks that up. So that's why you'll see Levi's that were, let's say that they were like 36s, and then they wind up being like a 34, 32 or something. It'll be this crazy amount of shrinkage on the jeans. And it has to do with how the weave pattern is done inside of them. So these can be really sought after. So not a lot of people understand that that's the reason that they like them. So in the description, I will write, vertical weave pattern. And then in parentheses, I'll put helps to keep the jeans from shrinking as much. Just to let people know, because otherwise vertical weave pattern or weave weft is not going to mean anything to 90% of the population. So if you put that in there, it'll just let them know. Always, measure your jeans and make sure that it's truly a vertical weave, because these are kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but generally that'll be it. So number two, that's the reason. Number three is the size. So these are let's see, what size are these? These are where are you? Where's your sizing? Yeah, these are a 42-32. Now, would have been even better had they been like a 42-38 or a 42-30. Normally, you want your jeans to have smaller waist, longer legs. That is typically the best sizing you can find. However, when you start to get anywhere above 40, it's not as important, because normally this person is going to be maybe a little larger in the middle, but their legs are going to be like 36 or 38 or 40. Not typically, I mean, usually. But I am always going to get anything that's a size, because one, it's hard for people to find jeans in a size. They don't make as many of those. And then number two, this aesthetic is so hot right now. Some dude that is a 36 will get these and literally cinch waist these up. Do you guys remember this look from the 90s where it's like cinched up and then absolutely insanely crazy baggy, like Junko style jeans? That is what's popular right now. So if I see those, I am picking those up 100% all the time, no matter what. And these are in really, really good condition. Oh, I need to get a picture of that. Does that all make sense of that? Maybe a video to show example of the true vertical weave. Yeah, I maybe should pull some out. Next time I come across some that are like 100% vertical, and then I'll take a pair of like 90s Levi's or something and show the difference. That's a good idea, actually. Let's write that down. K-Rock, we're going to write that down in the book so we don't forget it. We're going to do vertical weave versus regular weave in a video. I had a great video from yesterday I put up, and TT flagged it, which makes no sense, talking about small spaces, and it also was talking about delisting and relisting. I went back and watched the video like 3 times, so I just changed it to only me for the settings for right now. And I'm waiting for TT to decide to take it out of being flagged or not being flagged. It's so strange. I mean, I literally listened word for word. I was like, I don't understand. But when the robots take over, that's what happens. All right. And these are definitely not like an older pair for sure. I can just tell by the feeling of these. They're not usually dated. But there is a model number on here, which will make my life real easy when I type the model number in, and I can immediately just have a sell similar, because that's what I do. That's how I always do my stuff. I'm a sell similar kind of girl. All right, get a picture of all of this here. Perfect. All right, getting these in a bag and then moving right along. Fold it up. All right, didn't miss anything, guys, here. TTs. Yeah, I know. It's really, what's funny to me is that they'll do that on a video talking about delisting and relisting items and about making it work in a smaller room. They'll take that down. But have you ever been on TT at 1:30 in the morning? Woo! Oh, goodness. There are some things going on in this world that I do not understand and choose to not participate because it's just so strange to me that my stuff would be flagged when there is some stuff out. I know like Nurse and some of the people that are on later at night have said that they have found some interesting things later into the eve on there. All right, so these started out as $42.32. So let's take a look and see what they are now. So our ankle is 9.5. Our length is a 31. So these only shrunk 1 inch. So that goes to show that they were not completely vertical, because you would have had probably little to no pull up at all. But the fact that these only shrunk 1 inch and these are used jeans is pretty good. Hustle, what is good? We were just talking about you a little bit ago, about how you're going to have Bearded on tonight. I'm very, very excited. So guys, if you aren't following Hustle, he's the one that's doing it with Arizona that we were talking about, and they will be on in about an hour from now. I'm very excited about that. I was telling everybody, Bearded is one of my very, very first people I ever found and taught me so much. Okay, so our hips on this are going to be a 46, a 47. And then our waist on this looks like a 42. So these shrunk, these entire jeans, this huge pair of jeans, only shrunk a total of 1 inch over the whole thing. And that is the difference between that vertical warp and weave than, more of like a horizontal ribbony or braided or threaded weave. Yeah, so thanks for reminding me. I know, we're all excited. Hey, Asirgo, I hope I said that right. There is a chance I didn't. Okay, next thing we've got here is an REI shirt. Now, this is not a brand I pick up a ton, unless I'm getting it for a super inexpensive price. So I picked this up for 50 cents at a garage sale. It's really unique. I haven't seen one like this before. So the buttons are snap, but they're almost like a shiny metal stud. So it kind of has that look to it. It has like a Western aesthetic to it. So I picked it up because why not? It's got the hook here or the loop there, and that's so that you can actually roll this up and wear it as a short sleeve as well, because it is like a Gorp core outdoors Gorp utility, hiking, walking. I'm definitely going to add Western in there because it totally has a Western aesthetic to it. I would say this is probably a women's, and it's in really good condition. So for being an REI, like I said, not a brand I sell a ton of just because it doesn't sell for a lot. But this one has, like we were talking about earlier, having that utility function to it. If something has a reason for it, you're always so much more likely to be able to sell it because it's what helps it stand out from the other things. So not only does this have a Western aesthetic, but it also has a dry wick feel to it. It's got the Western look. It's got the studs. It's got the roll-up sleeves. All those little things. Just think of all those things when you're outsourcing. Remember the phrase penny in a jar, right? So if I'm just selling a basic t-shirt, it's 1 penny. But if I'm selling a basic t-shirt that has a dry fit logo, then that's an extra penny. If I am selling a t-shirt that's dry fit and Nike, that's an extra penny. If I'm selling a t-shirt that's dry fit, Nike, and vintage, that's another penny. Or let's say it's got mesh underneath the armpit, or it's breathable, or like all those little things are like clink, 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 and those pennies stack up. So when your jar that's got a shirt with all these pennies in it, meaning all those things in the description, and then there's another shirt that doesn't have that, even if it's the same shirt, because you've listed it in the description, the search engines have found it, number one. And number two, the person that's reading it and seeing it and looking at it is going to purchase yours because it has all those little things written down. So that's why it's so important. If something's got a logo on the arm, all right, embroidered logo on arm. Penny, 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 penny. Jem, yo, what is good? Happy to see you. Yeah, the color is really pretty too. Oh, yeah, you're talking about the color of that. Yeah, it's a really unique. It's like oh man, what is it? It's got like a hot orange, but then also like a really interesting mauvish color to it. It's really cool. It's really neat. Jem, it always makes me so happy to see you and your yo-yos. Can you see sold comps on Depop? No, you can't. I don't ever use Depop for sold comps. What I will do is if I've got something I'm listing on eBay and I'm like, I just want to see what this sells for over on Depop, I'll just type in the word and just look over the first like 3 or 4 of those that are kind of like it. And I can usually get a little bit of a metric for it because what I charge for a Y2K shirt is always a little bit more on Depop than what I usually charge on eBay. Because on Depop, I do bundle discounts, free shipping discounts on bundles. I run a 10 and 15% sale on over at Depop. So to make it closer to the price I sell it for on eBay, I'll pop it up a little bit. Now on eBay, my fees are a little bit more, but I know I'm going to sell it on Depop versus eBay anyway. So I might as well ask just a little extra and pad a little bit over there. So thanks for the gift, Jem. Hey, April. I'm happy to see you. I recognize your smiling face. All right, let's get a picture of this front one. Now, this is going to be interesting for exposures kids. We may have to like mess around with this a little bit. I think plus 0.3. Yeah, that's pretty gosh dang close. I mean, this is such a really unique color. Like Gracious said, it's really kind of a cool color. Caught my eye at a garage sale. And for 50 cents, I mean, I wasn't going to snooze on that. No way. Especially when you can find something like this, it's in this good a condition. Because usually this kind of gorpcore stuff, they've worn out fishing or something like that. So I want to make sure that I don't cover up these metal buttons, because I think these metal buttons that have this, I think Flippin' Nurse has been here. I got a husky hair. Flippin' Nurse, have you been here? I got a husky hair. So this stuff here usually is pretty worn on the sleeves because people have worn it like fishing or camping or something like that. But this one's in really good condition. So this is like, okay, we're going to make up a story. Who owned this, guys? This shirt was owned by a woman named Delilah. And Delilah is married to a guy named Hank. And Hank is like really into the outdoors, you guys. So what he likes to do is he likes to go out camping and fishing and doing all sorts of stuff outdoors. He's getting a little bit older though, so he doesn't go out with the guys anymore because the guys are like having grandkids and stuff. So normally he'd go out with his buddies and stuff. But, it's the kind of time of age where, Delilah and Hank have downsized a little bit. They got into a little bit of a smaller house. Maybe they're living up with your cabin now that they've always had up on the lake. So they're not down in town anymore. And Delilah's like kind of antsy up there. So she decides she wants to start like participating with Hank and going out and like fishing and, doing some outdoor stuff. And she's like, but I don't really own anything that's right for that. So, he takes her to REI where he usually goes with his buddies, to pick up some stuff. They go to Cabela's first. She's like, none of this stuff gets girly enough. So they decide to pop in REI because she can pick up a pair of yoga pants and maybe a tule for the top of the car at the same time. So they pop in there that, she gets her stuff. They go home and they decide to go on a 3-day fishing trip. And they got some kayaks and they have all this new stuff and they're ready. Delilah's very excited. She's already told her daughter, Michelle, that's away at college right now, that she's going to be out doing this. So if anything should happen, they got a sat phone. They're going to be fine. And they go out and it's pretty dirty out there. And the tent is not comfortable to sleep in. And, the truck gets a flat tire on the way. Now, Hank doesn't think it's any big deal because he deals with this all the time. He's pretty stoked his wife's coming, but he also misses his friends. And so, this was back in 2015 when this shirt was made, is when she originally got it. I know because I just looked at the tag. And so back in 2015, it wasn't as easy to find information on the old Googly or whatever. So they're just going off like a map and going off, because there's no GPS really at that time that worked really well for them. They got lost a couple times and, she brought way more clothes than she needed to. And she was looking good for the trip, but they caught a few fish and she thought it was fine. She didn't like having to clean up the dishes around the campfire or anything. And her shoes were constantly wet and she didn't bring enough socks with her. And, Hank had a great time, but he definitely missed hanging out with the guys. He tried to go out hunting one day by himself while she stayed back and just went on a little nature walk. And they had an okay time, but they got back to the cabin and she's like, Hank, I really had a great time, but I'm just really missing my friends in the city. So they decide that they're going to sell the cabin and go back a little closer to town, but they decide they're going to move someplace that's like in between. So they're not really down, they're not like up in the hills. They're not like downtown LA. They decide that they're going to do more like a Calabasas thing or something. So they leave their cabin up in Redding. They go back down. And then Delilah winds up going out and hanging out with her friends. And so this ends up going into a box and then somehow ends up at a garage sale. And this crazy girl that probably had, hot orange hair or something at the time picked it up for 50 cents. And now we're going to sell it. So I just want to thank Delilah for giving it the old college try going camping. And Hank, I hope you're able to get together with the boys now that the grandkids are almost 10 years older now. And I hope you guys are having a great time. So that's the story on that shirt today. I mean, every time we do this, guys, I think that should be our new thing. That seems to be something that we're doing every time now is we got to have a story on one item. And you guys are welcome to participate and add into this. I mean, why not? Let's just make this a whole fandamily situation. we're gonna write novels together about this. I was thinking about you guys. So I was listing that college, Ohio State. By the way, guys, I think that jersey is a total banger. I did a little research. So I was listing that though, and I was thinking about you guys. By the way, thank you, Gracious. Gracious was nice enough to message me on Instagram and gave me a thing with all the players that had played in the era that we were looking at on the Buckeyes. And then also I learned all about the San Gian plant. It was they moved to San Marcos in 1971. I learned all about the guy who went down a Reddit hole and read a bunch of things. Because sometimes it's not just about the item you pick up today that you're doing research on. It's for future items, for what to look for. Because jerseys is something that I run into a lot. And I feel very unconfident knowing which ones to get and which ones not to get. And so it's just one of those things that I would like to learn a little bit more about, if that makes any sense. I'm sure it does. And so I've been reading a lot about it. So here's what I think that jersey was. I think that jersey, it's not an 80s, because I went through and looked at the 80s jerseys. And the 80s jerseys don't have the long sleeves. I'm going to show you guys which one I'm talking about. Oh, we just got an offer. Just a second, guys. We always got to take that. Let's see. Made an offer. You accept the offer. The offer expired. Oh, yeah, it just expired before they get pay. So we are going to accept that offer. Let's make sure that we like the price. 1, 2, let's see, 16. It would be 1, 2, 3, 20 off. So that'd be 13. I'm going to counter that with 12 because it doesn't show me what my other offer was for him. And then we're going to go from there. We're going to type meet me. Sorry, you guys know I always got to hit the offers. So here is the shirt that I listed. Let me show you guys which one I'm talking about. For those of you that weren't on, so it's this one here. That Ohio State jersey. You guys remember this one? And so it's really crazy. It has like these long arms. It's got a cinch side. It says Ohio State and then 28 on the front. It says 28 on the back. So it doesn't have like a specific player, but it does have the Spangian logo, which we discerned because Grace just figured out that they moved that plant to San Marcos, California in 1971. So it can't be older than that. So I went and looked at their jerseys from like the 80s, and all of the jerseys from there are like more the box cut with the shorter sleeves, and then they have like the stripes and stuff on them. And that's really common in the 80s. It's hard to find pictures of like players from the 70s in college football. It's not as easy as you would think because it has to be like pictures of like the quarterback that was in like a newspaper or something. And normally Ohio State does the red jerseys with white lettering. However, this one is white with red lettering, and the lettering on it is actually patches that were sewn on. So it's not a screen print. So it can't be from the 80s because they didn't do sew on numbers and lettering in the 80s, right? So looking through all of it, I believe that this jersey is probably anywhere from 1971, when they moved the plant there, to like 78 at the latest. Because after that, all jerseys, you guys know what football jerseys look like. They look like they're more square. So I think it's that era. The other thing that tells me that is the feel of the material. It is like thick, old school. And I think the reason it's white with the red lettering with just a 28 on it is I think it was a practice jersey. So I think that when they would do like the scrimmages in their own teams, they would do in college football, all sports has done this, where they'll do like, they do shirts and skins or whatever, but like in sports, they'll do like the two different colors and then they'll play each other to like practice and stuff. So I think this was a practice jersey that half the team would have worn the white with the red lettering, and then the other half of the team would have worn red with white lettering to like scrimmage with each other, or just a practice jersey for like a quarterback or something going out. So I know I wish I would show you what they offered previously because I don't know. So what I did was I priced this pretty high, and I'm just going to ride this out and see what happens, because some of the other jerseys that are kind of in this realm have sold for like $250 on. So I've listed mine for $250. It'll end up by the end of today, it'll be on a 5% sale because it always goes on a 5% sale on my eBay. So that'll knock off like $15 or something. So it'll wind up being like $230, $235, somewhere right in there, I think. Yeah. So we're gonna see, because I literally, when I say I scoured the internet for this, I spent some time on this guy. And I'm like, I can't find anything like this. Like the fact that this is stitched on. So all this lettering that's on it, that is all patches, and then it's stitched on, like machine stitch. And it's old school machine stitch too. It's the old V stitches, like those hardcore old, like dong, 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 dong machines, almost like a serger. It's like a serger stitch versus like a regular machine stitch. But I know it's old because it's got the Spangian. I could tell just by the quality. So it's a rare. I think it's a rare boy. It's one of those things I'm willing to just put up. Let's see, how many watchers have we ever? Yeah, we've already had 7 views on it, and I just listed it a few hours ago. It was earlier today. So I listed it around maybe 3-ish. So it's gotten a few nibbles. It hasn't gone on its 5% off sale because it always takes like, I don't know, maybe like 8 or 9 hours for eBay to catch that and to put it on. Oh, the shirt right before it has already gone on sale, so it's probably the next one to go on. So interesting. I don't know. I may get some nibbles. I may not get some nibbles. I'm going to put it up on Grailed because I think if it sells anywhere, that's probably where it'll sell. I haven't had a chance to cross list it yet. So we'll just see. I paid $1 for it. So whatever I get off of it, I'm happy. And it takes 24 to hit the old googly algo, and that's exactly right. So like Grace just said, so we'll see. I don't know, guys. It could be something really, really cool, or it could just end up being, you know, absolutely nothing. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, we got a couple more items here, and then I'll let you guys go and get ready for the amazing bearded and Arizonas. So we got another little Columbia. Pick this one up because this is an Omniwick. Omniwick, if you don't know, it's for evaporation. So it helps to like evaporate the old sweaties and stuff like that. So again, of course, something I'm going to pick up if I can get something. Oh, it's missing a button. Are we missing a button? I think we're missing a button, folks. Do we have a button? We do not have a button. All right, let's take a look here. Is there a spare button there? No, 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 no. This is going to go in our button pile. All right, can I snag a button from somewhere? Haha, we got a button. Otherwise, I would just list it. So I can sew a button on in about 60 seconds. I worked in a sewing shop for a very small period of my life when I was 16. So that will get a new button put on it. Okay, next one here. We'll make this one our last one. I was thinking on this Banana Republic one that was just still from the steamer, but I'm still seeing those little lines. So I may put a little Dawn. If you mix little trick, little hack, if you mix Dawn with a little bit of baking soda and make it into like kind of like a liquid, there is a gal that I learned this trick from. I reposted her video. She is on my repost on my TikTok, and I watched her just put it on these sweaters, these little you know, oil spots or whatever, and it came right out. So I'm going to try it on this one. I might even make a video on it to see if it works for me, because I haven't tried using that like that before. So yeah, amazing. I mean, it was such a cool, like I saw it at the sale, and it was like in this box of like all this old stuff that has probably been toted around for who even knows. I mean, we're a long ways from Ohio State here. So anyway, okay, last thing we've got here is another little mock neck. Now, this is Adidas, not a brand I pick up a lot. Red, not the greatest color. However, I haven't looked at the date on this yet, but I bet you this is probably like a 2010 to 2013, somewhere kind of right in there. I can tell just by the feel of it. And it had a couple cool things. So it has this really interesting pocket here on the side. It's got the mock neck that also has the hidden zipper so that the zipper doesn't touch your chin, because that's something really annoying for athletes with mock necks. And it's in just really good condition. So I'm just going to run my little guy over here. I don't see any like big holes or anything. Just a couple little things. And these aren't even from the sweater. This is just from something it was washed with. Like a little washed with like a gray something at some point. Just going to get those off there. I'm going to empty this. So this is how easy it is to do this. Is with these, this is so easy. So you just pop the top off, put it into the garbage, and then pop the top back on. So I love this little guy. He is my friend. Friendship, friendship, everybody, everywhere. Friendship, friendship, we love having brand new friends. Our little thing here that takes off all the little pilling is our friend. He helps us to make more in the end. We love friends, especially when they help you take things off sweaters. The end. Oh, wait, there's more right there. We have to get our little friend again to get all of the little goobers off. Friendship, friendship, friendship everywhere. We're going to get off all those pillings. All right. I think we got 95% of them off. I will probably still in the listing put may have 2 or 3 little pillings, because I don't want someone to be like, I got this, and it had 4 specs on it. I got it at 90% off what I'd have to pay in the store, but I'm still going to complain about it because that's who I am. Okay, so with red again, go take your picture. I usually do it at like around a 0. Then I go in and edit it and just slide over to brightness. And then I usually go up to like a 6. And it'll give you a truer look. All right, I'm going to do shoulders. And making sure I'm getting that Adidas logo in there as much as possible. And then I want to also make sure I'm getting all these interesting little things like the cool little pocket thing and the fact that this has like a zipper thing or a little casing over the zipper to protect the chin. And in your descriptions, never be afraid to explain why something is great too. I think we just expect, I forgot to do this side. I think we just expect that people are going to know what those items are for, but I'm literally going to write on that, protective material over top of zipper to protect the chin when working out. And then someone's going to be like, oh, look at that. It's got a protective piece of material over the zipper for when I'm working out. So I'm going to put that. I'm also going to put, side pocket to put your phone in or side pocket to put money or cards in. So that helps people to think about why they want it. You guys hear me say this a lot, but I always say, find a need and fill it, locate a problem and solve it. So what you want to do, whatever you're doing, whenever you're in sales, you're selling anything or anything like that, which all of us are. If you're doing this, you're in sales, you're literally a reseller. Our job is to help solve an issue for someone that they don't know that they need. It's called a hook. And so we want to tell someone why they need it without making them feel bad that they don't know that they need it. And what I mean by that is by me saying material over the top of the zipper to help prevent, wear on your chin when working out. That's an easy way for me to say it without saying, your chin's always getting torn up. You don't know why you need this. That's crazed, right? I can't remember ever saying it like that, but it's just, you're just saying it as in a oh, by the way, BTW, pocket on the side. So you've got a place to put your cash and cards when you go somewhere. Great spot for your keys, right? People are constantly thinking oh, right, that's what I need it for. On my stuff that has Dri-FIT or OmniWook, I will put Hypervent or any of those. I'll put OmniShield to protect against sunburns and breathability and moisture wicking to keep the sweat off. You're finding that problem and you're solving it for them by putting in there why they need it, because they don't know why they need it until you let them know what it's going to help do. Now, every commercial you watch, everything you watch, I'm going to challenge you guys to something, okay? I want you to look for the hook. Literally, I want you to look for the hook. So every video you watch, the next commercial that comes on, I want you to watch. They're not advertising to you the item. They're advertising to you what problem the item is going to solve for you. Car commercials are a perfect example of that. Car commercials will show a guy and a lady and a family, and they're driving out to the beach, and then they're going to go up the mountains, and it's that family ain't going to do nothing like that with that car. What that family's going to do is fill it with Cheerios, and it's going to have, Bluey videos playing in it, and it's going to be snot rags, and it's going to go on trips with them where the parents are having an issue, the kids have gone wild. This car is going to go through, their kids learning how to drive and all this stuff. They ain't going up to the mountains for a day trip to play Frisbee, right? But it's telling your mind that's something you've always wanted to do, hasn't it? Haven't you always wanted your family to get along and go up to the mountains and hang out and play Frisbee and have an adventure? Haven't you always wanted that? It's telling you that that's what you can do. It's solving the problem of you feeling like your family never gets to get away and do anything by literally hooking you with something that you've always wanted. I don't know if that even makes sense. I see the hook coming a mile away and I still always fall for it. Of course, that's why it works. That's how marketing has worked for 100 years or more. How do you think those guys would sell snake oil on the side of the road? You tired? Are you tired of getting the Spanish flu? Are you tired of your joints aching because you don't know what bacteria is yet? Like, try this. Like, find a need and fill it, locate a problem and solve it. It is wild. Good evening, Vanessa. What is it? Tech Pocket, Secret Pocket, Snack Pocket. Those are all great. Okay, we got a picture of the back. We're going to get a picture of the label, and then I'm going to let you guys go so you got some time before Hustle in Arizona pop on here. Make sure you guys check that out tonight. Bearded is a man of much knowledge. That guy sells a lot of stuff, and he sells it everywhere. 2012. What did I say I thought this was? I think I thought it was like 2010 to 2013 or something like that. So not bad. I guess you feel enough textures and materials, and eventually you just kind of get a feeling for what they are. So this is one of those things where I am going to call it. What are we going to call it? Do you guys remember? Post Y2K, POST Y2K, all in one word. Or I'm also going to put POST dash Y2K, because the search engine is still going to pick up the Y2K, but you are technically not saying it's Y2K, so you're not misleading anybody. You're just saying that it is a post Y2K item. And that's probably the only other tag. This is, oh no, we got another one down here. All right. What do we got down here? 100% polyester. What a shocker. Crazy. I can't imagine that's what it would be made out of. Yeah, Y2K aesthetic. And you can do Y2K aesthetic, but it has to be in this, that you can't put a space in between for that, Gracious. Because if you say Y2K and then aesthetic, and you probably already know this, most of you guys probably already do. But if you do that, then you're literally saying it's Y2K. Yeah, together. So you can do Y2K aesthetic together for sure. Is there a name for this hem on the end of jeans? Mike, I'm not sure what you mean about that. Is there a name for the hem on the bottom of jeans? I mean, if Riz was here, Riz could probably tell you. I don't know. I always just call it the hem, or I call it the ankle. So if I have a pair of jeans and they have like distressing on the bottom or something, I'll always say distressing on hem, my ankle. So I always say that, because if it does have a fancy name, most people aren't going to know what it is. Last marketing tip for the night. Man, you never know what you know until you start talking about it. There is a thing that you're taught whenever you're learning sales and marketing, and it's that clever never works. And so when you say things that are smarter than the buyer feels like they are, it automatically makes them feel like they don't know something, and it makes them feel weird. So I try to, if I put anything in a listing that I feel like, I always think of it as fancy, like fancy words. If I ever put something in there that's not just something you would say in a common conversation, I'll put in parentheses what it is. And that way I'm saying, it has selvage on bottom. Selvage is the end of a bulk roll or something. I'll put that in there just so I'm not looking like I'm trying to be more clever than my buyer. You always want your buyer to feel like they're getting a better deal. They know more information than you, and they're almost getting, like, they're winning. They've won up to you because they are getting a better end of the bargain. They know more, all of those kind of things. So whenever I can make someone feel like that, I want to do that. And how I do that in this business is just by putting what it is in the parentheses. And then that way I don't ever have to worry about someone feeling like they didn't know something. Yeah, like pit to pit. Pit to pit to me is less of a I'm smarter than you and more of just like a Josie Grossie. Like, because that's not a real thing. It's not a real term. Oh man, I saw a listing. I'll end with this. Oh man, I never like to say anything. I don't want to say anything bad about this, but I was doing a sell similar, and I saw something on a picture. It was like writing on a picture, and I was like, I was like, okay, I got to click on this and see. So it was a shirt, And it was like right here was folded over and it said PTP on it. And I was like, PTP? It said PTP 20, like written as in they had used like an app or something to write over it. I'm like, PTP 20? I'm like, what does that mean? And then I realized not only did they do pit to pit, but they had abbreviated it. Pit to pit 20. Like, can you imagine the average person? If I'm a reseller and it took me a minute, and then are they taking that? Are they writing with an app on every single listing for their pictures? That has to take so much time. I mean, maybe they're like really fast at it, but like I just feel like that would take you so much time to do that. So I saw that and I thought I would tell you guys about it because it just cracked me up. Like, hey, you know what? That person might be making $200,000 a year doing this. I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm cooked. And that's highly possible. But I was like, P2P. I just kept thinking like PT, like physical therapy. I don't know. It's wild. Came into this community and that is it. That is the standard. Yeah, it's interesting. It's been painstaking on the listings, but I thank you for your knowledge. You're welcome. I just think that here's what I say. If I want to be like a store, you know, one of my favorite phrases ever is it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. I love that saying so much. And so I look at clothing stores. How do clothing stores advertise? How does like Smile Mazan, how do they put their measurements in? How do these companies that are making far more money than I am and selling way more stuff, how are they doing it? And never have I seen pit to pit on any website where they sell clothing, except for maybe 2 skate places that are trying to do it because it's cool. So it's like you always want to use words that the search engines can find and that people understand. Well, a search engine is not looking pit to pit. And that's such a reseller term. That's not like an everyday person term. Most people are going to say like the bust if they're a female, or they're going to say chest. So I updated my template, but I don't know if I'm going to fix them all. Mike, I wouldn't stress too much about it. You know, everything you do in this business, time is money, money is time. So you have to ask yourself, like, do I want to go back? I mean, heck, I still have terrible old listings that I am going through, and constantly every time they come up stale, I'm trying to redo them and relook at them. And so it, you know, I haven't gone back through and done everything yet. I mean, I'm in the ballpark of being done, but still I haven't. And so I would worry not so much about, it's never about like going backwards because we're not going that way, right? It's always about looking forwards. So yeah. And like Gracious, I'm fixing multiple things. And that's what I'm doing too, man. I didn't have measurements. I had bad descriptions, bad titles. I haven't my old zip code attached to it. It still says it's coming USPS priority mail on some of them because that was before it was changed to being called Ground Advantage. I mean, these are listings I put up like over a year and a half ago. So yeah, Jewel says me too. Hi, America. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. We got about 20 minutes until Hustle and Arizona are going to be interviewing Bearded Thrifter. And if you guys have never heard Bearded Thrifter, they think I got some knowledge. That guy's got some serious knowledge. So I will be there. I am excited to see that this evening. All right, you guys, have a beautiful night. I will be back on tomorrow. I'll be on more in the afternoon tomorrow. And we will probably, same bat time, same bat channel. Well, not same bat time, but same bat channel. We'll be doing some more clothing together. I think, you know, I've got some hard goods I probably should get up because we were kind of headed into the Christmas time. So I may do some hard goods tomorrow. We might be doing some hard goods, some puzzles, and some old modeling kits and some other things I found in the garage that I was like, when did I get these? And I was like, I have no idea. So, all right, you guys, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for all of the 10,000 hearts. Thank you for the shares and the subscriptions and all the love. I appreciate it. If you're on the Tubies, it's Ubies. Thank you for subscribing and liking and watching and participating and joining and just all in all being awesome. All right. Bye, you guys. Have a beautiful night. Bye, Groovy. Bye, everybody. Thank you.